Chapter 1076. What's wrong with that? Actually, I'm looking forward to a peaceful life. Making tea every day and raising some fish and insects is pretty good. Night Sorrow wiped a chair for Bei Xing. Ha, you're wiping a chair for me. Not bad. Bei Xing laughed and sat down. Bei Xing opened the food box and placed the dishes on it. Then he poured a bowl of wine for himself and Night Sorrow. Because of my background, I've always been cautious about making friends. That's why I don't have many friends. You're my first friend. I believe our friendship will last forever. Of course. Bei Xing, I'll remember everything you've helped me. If you have something that I can help you with, I'll definitely do it. Night Sorrow made a promise. Then, Night Sorrow asked Bei Xing to bring the materials that the Celestial Master Pavilion had accumulated recently. He turned them into pills and gave them to the Celestial Master Pavilion. Recently, the Celestial Master Pavilion didn't accept customized pills and weapons. However, they still needed Saint King pills and Saint King weapons. After staying in the Celestial Master Pavilion for half a month, Night Sorrow met Ao Luyun again. Your safety shouldn't be a problem now. If you don't come out, no one should be able to find you. Ao Luyun looked at Night Sorrow and said, and I might encounter some trouble when I leave the Nine Heavens Tower. Everything else shouldn't be a problem. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Ao Luyun thought for a moment and said, I'll help you solve this problem. That's not suitable. I'll think of another way. Night Sorrow said. Ao Luyun looked at Night Sorrow and didn't say anything. She understood Night Sorrow's character. He wouldn't easily accept other people's kindness. After staying with Ao Luyun for a while, Night Sorrow left. He came to see Ao Luyun. After all, Ao Luyun had expressed her goodwill. After leaving again, Night Sorrow left Bei Xing's mansion through teleportation. He passed by Seven Nights City and returned to the Nine Regions world. After returning to the Nine Regions world, Night Sorrow went to Clear Sky City and then to the command tent in the Evil Spirit world. After entering the tent, Night Sorrow looked at Lu Qin and asked, did it go smoothly? Everything went smoothly. Other than the initial losses, no one died. Lu Qin said. City Lord Lu, I have plans to rebuild Clear Sky City. With my avatar here, the Heaven Sealing Great Hall will be safe. We can build this place into the core city of the Nine Domains world. Night Sorrow spoke his thoughts. Yes, the construction of Seven Night City is done by the core forces of the Nine Regions world. It is relatively easier to build Clear Sky City. The Nine Regions can contribute manpower and resources. Lu Qin nodded. Night Sorrow rubbed his forehead and said, building 2 major cities in a row will put a lot of pressure on the Nine Domains world. The pressure is great for the time being, but after the pressure passes, it will be a brand new Nine Regions world, a Nine Regions world that can stand tall in the vast thousand worlds. Taishu Yin walked in from outside. We need to play it safe. We can't let the Nine Domains world collapse, Night Sorrow said. The construction of Seven Night City was already very stressful for the Nine Domain world. Adding the construction of Clear Sky City, the burden was even heavier. Later, the people of the commander's residence will discuss how to deal with it, Taishu Yin said. Night Sorrow nodded. He could only take charge of the direction of the development of the Nine Domains world. He did not have the energy or time to do so. Night Sorrow set up a tent not far from the command tent and stayed there to cultivate his battle skills. Staying in the Evil Spirit world, he could be the first to know and deal with any situation. He did not want anything to happen to the people of the Nine Domains world. As for the tribulation of the Nine Domains world, Night Sorrow felt that it would not be a problem. It could be overcome. It was just a matter of time. 3 months later, the 2 teams led by Hong Yi and Lan Ying returned. Both teams had killed countless evil beings. At this time, Night Sorrow felt that the pressure on the Nine Domains world had lessened by a lot. Everyone gathered in the main tent. Commander, fighting like this still can't solve the problem, Xian Wenxiu said. It can't solve the problem, but it can buy time. We can avoid the enemy's experts and kill ordinary evil beings. This is equivalent to weakening the Evil Spirit world's origin energy. The weakening of the Evil Spirit world's origin energy will lessen the impact on the Nine Domains world. The main thing is that everyone is safe, Night Sorrow said. There's no problem with safety. The Evil Spirit King is in the Evil Spirit Abyss. The 3 King-level commanders are also near the Evil Spirit Abyss. They are guarding the Evil Spirit Abyss, so we won't encounter any kings if we kill in the periphery. Lan Ying looked at Night Sorrow and expressed her opinion. If there's no problem with safety, then everyone can continue to fight. I'll stay here. If there's any situation, just inform me. Remember, safety is the most important thing. Night Sorrow emphasized the issue of safety once again. While the clone in the heaven-sealing Great Hall suppressed the evil spirit world, it also cultivated battle skills. It cultivated willpower, the power of laws, and the use of elemental power. Knight Sorrow stayed in the evil spirit world. Every day he would refine pills, drink tea, and stabilize himself. After more than a year and a half, close to 2 years, the two elite teams returned. At this time, Knight Sorrow felt that even in his current state, his clone in the heaven-sealing Great Hall could suppress the evil spirit world for 50 years. Of course, if his main body's cultivation increased, this time would be extended. We've cleared the surrounding areas of the evil spirit world. We can't go to the core area, so we came back, Redcoat said. Then the battle will stop. This result is very good. Next, it's my business, Knight Sorrow said. Knight Sorrow was also a little puzzled. Since his main body woke up last time, there had been no reaction until now. Normally speaking, this shouldn't be the case. The only explanation was that his main body was still in the process of comprehending. If he didn't comprehend, he would wake up from his meditation. But now that he hadn't woken up, he could only wait. If he interrupted, it would be equivalent to destroying his future. Moreover, the current situation wasn't very urgent. The situation was already under control, so he would just let nature take its course. There weren't many opportunities to increase his cultivation. Perhaps if he stopped cultivating now, it would be king, but he still wasn't a match for the evil spirit king. He still had to cultivate deeply. Knight Sorrow felt that it would be better to continue cultivating in one go. No one asked about Knight Sorrow's matter now. Knight Sorrow's decision was unconditionally supported and carried out by the people of the 9 regions world. They believed that Knight Sorrow could handle everything well. Then we'll stay here and guard. Those who need to cultivate can go and cultivate, Wu Lingfei said. To forge iron, one needs to be strong. If we want to completely resolve this calamity, we're still not strong enough. We'll retreat later. I'll bring up the rear and take down the world teleportation formation, Knight Sorrow said. Commander, should we start the construction of Clear Sky City now? Lu Qin asked. Unspecified currency original V first release. I'll leave these matters to you. I can only deal with the war. You can discuss other matters, Knight Sorrow said as he stood up. Chapter 1077. The others nodded their heads. Yi Shang had already contributed enough. Everyone had to be responsible for some things. Everyone don't feel too pressured. Humans are born by living, and the path is created by walking. No matter which great world it is, we all have to go through this process of growth. Yi Sorrow left behind a few words and left the command tent. In addition, Knight Sorrow didn't tell everyone that as the war progressed smoothly, Knight Sorrow discovered that the origin laws of the 9 regions world had become much stronger. Not long after Knight Sorrow returned to his tent, Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, and Aoi arrived at Knight Sorrow's tent. 13. I have good news for you. I've refined that space. Now it has fused with the origin of space. It means that I have a space in my body. Aoi looked at Knight Sorrow and smiled. Good news? Congratulations, 6th senior sister. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands at Aoi. It's all thanks to you, Aoi said. After we return, everyone should have a good rest. We'll pack up and return to Clear Sky City, Knight Sorrow said. The battle in the evil spirit world had ended. There was no need to leave anyone here. While they were talking, Hong Yi and Lan Ying arrived at Knight Sorrow's tent. Thank you for your help this time. Knight Sorrow thanks you. If you need Knight Sorrow's help, please let me know. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands at Hong Yi and Lan Ying. I didn't expect you to control us and be so polite. We didn't follow the wrong person. Your people are retreating. What will you do with us? Lan Ying looked at Knight Sorrow and asked. Naturally, we'll go together. Follow us to the 9 regions world. The evil spirit world is a calamity for the 9 regions world. If the 9 regions world can survive, the evil spirit world will be absorbed by the 9 regions world and become nourishment for the growth of the 9 regions world. You'll also need a place to live, Knight Sorrow said. All right, I'll listen to the arrangements. What about you, Lan Ying? Blood Robes looked at Lan Ying. Naturally, it's the same. Lan Ying nodded. When she was first subdued by Knight Sorrow, Lan Ying was dissatisfied with Red Coat. However, she had already let it go. At that time, Red Coat had already served Knight Sorrow. She had no other choice. In addition, her situation was much better than the other commanders' king. Knight Sorrow had also given her enough respect. Relax. You were born into the 9-domain world's tribulation. Living in the 9-domain world is naturally your home. No one will disrespect you. Knight Sorrow comforted the 2 girls. Thus, everyone was teleported away. Night Sorrow put away the interrealm teleportation array and then tore through space to return to the Nine Regions world and to Supreme Sky City. Night Sorrow saw the core members of the Nine Regions world waiting for him at the interrealm teleportation formation in Clear Sky City. As for the construction of the city, I'll leave it to you all to discuss. I'll be here for the time being. Night Sorrow looked at the group of people and said this. Then he went to the side and made a tent. He planned to camp there. Night Sorrow left. The others were still discussing. The final result of the discussion was to first build around the heaven-sealing Great Hall. At the very least there had to be a City Lord mansion. While Night Sorrow was making tea, Red Coat and Lan Ying came. Both of them did not look well. Original version / What's wrong with the two of you? Night Sorrow asked when he saw that Red Coat and Lan Ying were not in good condition. Our lives are incomplete. We have flesh and blood bodies and souls, but we still lack something very important. When we were in the evil spirit world we couldn't feel it. Now it's very obvious, Lan Ying said. What they lack is the origin of life. In other words, they don't have the world origin of the Nine Regions world. The Nine Regions origins voice sounded in Night Sorrow's divine sea. Following the Nine Regions origins explanation, Night Sorrow understood some things. Life was produced by the gathering of spirit energy in a world and had the recognition of the world. However, Red Coat and Lan Ying were not. Their origin of life was wrong. They were energy bodies that had turned into flesh and blood. What they lacked was the recognition of a world. The evil spirit world did not have this ability. Living in the evil spirit world, Red Coat and Lan Ying could not sense it. Now that they had left the evil spirit world, the drawbacks were revealed. It was very difficult for Red Coat and Lan Ying to solve this problem. Could be said that they could not solve it. After a long time, they would slowly disperse and disappear from the world. It was a difficult problem for Red Coat and Lan Ying to solve, but Night Sorrow could easily solve it. I can solve this problem, but for the two of you it may be a problem, Night Sorrow said to Red Coat and Lan Ying. You can solve it? What is the problem? Lan Ying asked excitedly. It is like this. I am the leader of the Nine Regions world, Night Sorrow said. I can control the Nine Regions origin. I can give each of you an origin, but because you are not from the Nine Regions world, once the origin enters your body, it will disperse. If you do not want it to disperse, there is only one way. Hearing that Night Sorrow had a way to solve this problem, Red Coat and Lan Ying's eyes brightened. They quickly asked. Night Sorrow told them how to solve this problem. There was only one way, and that was for the origin to enter the soul power that Night Sorrow had left in their god orbs. Then Night Sorrow's soul power would completely combine with their soul orbs. As a result, Red Coat and Lan Ying would forever be under Night Sorrow's control. If Night Sorrow died, the soul power that he had left in their god orbs would disperse, and they would disappear. As long as Night Sorrow did not die, they would not be able to leave. The downside was that Red Coat and Lan Ying would know what they were thinking, and Night Sorrow would know what they were thinking. You win again. We sisters are destined to live under your control for the rest of our lives. But isn't it the same now? It doesn't matter if you continue to control us. Lan Ying was quite open-minded. Red Coat, what about you? Night Sorrow looked at Red Coat. Naturally, it is not a problem. It is the same anyway, Red Coat said with a smile. Seeing the two of them nod, Night Sorrow controlled two Nine Regions origin to enter the two women's deity seas and combine with his soul power. Then his soul power dispersed into the two women's god orbs. Red Coat and Lan Ying did not resist. Instead, they cooperated with Night Sorrow's soul power to combine with their god orbs. After half a cup of tea's time, the combination was complete. How do you two feel now? Night Sorrow asked the two women. Our lives are complete. We have reached a level of compatibility with this world. There are no problems, Lan Ying said after sensing it for a moment. That's good. I will be staying here for a while. You two can go around and have a look. The Nine Regions world will be your home from now on. If there is anything, I will inform you directly, Night Sorrow said. Red Coat and Lan Ying nodded and left. If there was anything, it was easy for Night Sorrow to inform them. Night Sorrow's soul power could transmit the message through their god orbs. After Red Coat and Lan Ying left, Night Sorrow's family members arrived at Night Sorrow's place. Night Sorrow, what do you plan to do next? Yang Lei asked Night Sorrow. I will go and transfer the space-time pagoda over. You two should cultivate. All I can do is wait. Wait for my main body to break through, Night Sorrow said as he looked at his parents and wife. Chapter 1078. That's all we can do. Don't be anxious. Take it slow, Yu Qing said as she looked at her son. Mom, don't worry. I'm fine now. Now that the 9 regions world has passed this hurdle, the road ahead will be smooth, Night Sorrow said with a smile. After that, Night Sorrow returned to the city in the sky. After putting away the Spacetime Pagoda, he returned to Clear Sky City and placed the Spacetime Pagoda in front of the ceiling Sky Hall. Those who needed to cultivate cultivated. Night Sorrow brought the clones of his 3 wives and Xueshi to the 70th floor. Xueshi's room was there. The environment here is not bad. It's more comfortable for us to stay here. Your original bodies have to work hard, Night Sorrow said to them. Sikong Chuyu and the others nodded. Night Sorrow, does this tribulation exist in all worlds? Xueshi asked Night Sorrow. After a space world is formed, it will definitely experience a tribulation. The more serious one is when a world becomes a high-level world. After we pass this tribulation, the 9 regions world will become a high-level world. It will be on the same level as the Profound Sky World, Sky Dome World, and 9 Heavens World. And our 9 regions world is not the end, Night Sorrow said. Not the end? Xueshi looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. The first space world that I refined was the void space. That was a supreme void space. Later, I used the void space to complete the 9 regions world. Then, the 9 regions world had the potential to become a supreme world. However, I don't know when it will complete the evolution. When it evolves to a supreme world, there will be a tribulation. However, by then, our strength will have increased. It won't be a problem for us to pass the tribulation. This time we came too early and were caught off guard, Night Sorrow said. Yes, we came too early this time. If you were king, you would have no problem passing this tribulation, Sikong Chuyu said. She trusted Night Sorrow the most. It was a trust that came from the bottom of her heart. After resting for a few days, Night Sorrow suddenly felt that he had nothing to do. He could only rest or watch others work. Tai Shu Yen had brought a group of craftsmen to construct the outer perimeter of the Heaven Ceiling Great Hall, as well as the City Lord's mansion. Whether it was 7 Night City or Hao Yin City, there was only one City Lord, and that was Night Sorrow. Even if Night Sorrow did not care and did not want to do it, everyone in the 9 domains world only recognized him. For such a thing, Night Sorrow could only accept it. After all, he did not need to do anything. 2 months later, Hong Yi and Lan Ning returned. Seeing Red Spectre and Blue Shadow, Night Sorrow noticed that their auras had changed. The evil aura that had been around them had lessened, and there was now a gentleness to them. We've made a round. How do you feel? Night Sorrow brought the 2 of them to the 70th floor of the Spacetime Pagoda and brewed a pot of tea. The biggest feeling is that your world is very humane. It is full of warmth and peace, Lan Ning said. You said something wrong. This is not your world. This is our world. This is the world we are fighting for, Night Sorrow said to Lan Ning. I was wrong. This is our world. Such a world is worth fighting for. Lan Ning saluted Night Sorrow, feeling embarrassed. I'm very gratified that you can have such thoughts and insights. I'm truly gratified, said Yishan. Your spatial magic treasure is not bad, Red Spectre said after turning his head to look at it. It's okay. Now that you 2 understand the 9 domains world and have a sense of belonging, I will tell you about the 9 domains world and its development, Night Sorrow said to Red Spectre and Lan Ning. We have seen all that we can see, especially the Eastern Shen region where you grew up in the Night Moon Dynasty. I like the feeling of the Eastern Shen region and the Night Moon Dynasty, Red Spectre said. No, you have only seen part of it. You know a lot, but you don't know much about the 9 domains world. I will tell you about the 9 domains world's development. I have obtained the Realm Teleportation Crystal. Now, the 9 domains world is connected to the mysterious Heaven world. We are building a big city in the mysterious Heaven world. Night Sorrow explained the situation of the 9 domains world to Red Spectre and Lan Ning. We are going to develop outside. That's good. Lan Ning said. The 9 domains world has only been formed for a short period of time. There is no place where the will of the world manifests, so it cannot become a king. So, to break this shackle, we can only develop in other high-level worlds. Of course, after the 9 domains world survives this disaster, it will become a high-level world. With enough time, it will naturally form a place where the will of the world manifests. Night Sorrow explained the current situation of the 9 domains world to Red Spectre and Lan Ning. Yes, we understand. Lan Ning nodded. After entering the mysterious Heaven world, we will be connected to the 9 firmament world. The horizons and opportunities of the people of the 9 domains world will also increase. This is my idea and I am already doing it. After the 9 domains world survives this disaster, you can also go outside and take a look. Find your own opportunities and raise your level. Night Sorrow said to Red Spectre and Lan Ying. We all understand. You are the ruler of the Nine Domains world and we are the people of the Nine Domains world. In the future we will follow in your footsteps. Red Spectre expressed her attitude. Xueshi, bring Red Spectre and Lan Ying to the Seven Night City later to have a look. Let them know more about the Nine Domains world. Night Sorrow said to Xueshi. Xueshi had always been by Night Sorrow's side. Everyone in the Nine Domains world knew that Xueshi was one of Night Sorrow's people, so it was more convenient for her to do things. Okay, then I will bring them to have a look later. Xueshi nodded. Look at the Q section of the chapter. By the way, Red Spectre and Lan Ying's weapons are still relatively low level. I can help you refine them and raise their level. Night Sorrow said to Red Spectre and Lan Ying. You are also a weapon refiner? Lan Ying looked at Night Sorrow, her eyes full of surprise. I am a Saint King grade weapon refiner. I can upgrade your weapons to Saint King grade and raise your battle strength. If you need any pills I can also help you. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Regarding his achievements in alchemy and weapon refinement, Night Sorrow was still very proud because very few people could do this. In the next few days, Night Sorrow helped Red Spectre and Lan Ying raise the grade of their weapons. Night Sorrow was very impressed with Red Spectre and Lan Ying. The two of them were life forms born from the heavenly way. Not to mention that their cultivation was king grade, they had a very deep understanding of battle and had the ability to fight above their level. Could be said that this was talent. In 10 days, Yishang had upgraded Hong Yi's sword and Lan Ying's saber to Saint Ruler weapons. Their battle prowess had increased again. Xueshi, take them for a walk. But when you reach the profound sky world, don't leave the Seven Nights Mountain. The appearance of the new king will cause a disturbance. Night Sorrow said to Xueshi. Night Sorrow's concerns were not without reason. If a junior king did not belong to a force, then the other senior kings would have thoughts of subduing them. If they could not be subdued, then they would be destroyed. Chapter 1079. Night Sorrow, I know what to do. Don't worry. I'm only bringing them out to broaden my horizons. We won't cause any trouble. Xueshi nodded. Night Sorrow then waved his hand and threw Xueshi, Hong Yi, and Lan Ying out of the space-time treasure pagoda. What? We haven't even finished talking and you threw us out, Lan Ying muttered. Let's go. Let's take a look at our nine-domain world's base in the profound sky world, Xueshi said with a smile. Within the space-time treasure pagoda, Night Sorrow and his 3 wives were talking. Above Night Sorrow, after this calamity, our nine-domain world will become a high-grade world. There is no need to pay such a huge price to build Seven Night City in the profound celestial realm, Sikong Chiyu said. It is necessary. The nine-domain world needs time to become a mature high-grade world or even in sovereign world. Furthermore, the cultivators of our nine-domain world still need to go out and interact with the cultivators of other worlds. Only then can we increase our level. The profound sky world is the gateway between us and the nine-firmament world. Night Sorrow shook his head. He had thought about Sikong Chiyu's opinion before, but his thoughts on building Seven Night City had never wavered. N13's words are reasonable. Seven Night City still needs to be built. This will only bring us benefits and no harm. In the future we will focus on developing Clear Sky City. Yang Lei also agreed with Night Sorrow's point of view. With nothing else to do, Night Sorrow exchanged battle skills with his 3 wives. In truth, he was also guiding his 3 wives in their cultivation and increasing their battle strength. Night Sorrow's teaching was very simple. He just stood there and displayed 3 different energy techniques for his 3 wives to comprehend. While cultivating with his 3 wives, Night Sorrow also guided Yin Yanxiao, July, and Ning Yun in their cultivation. Night Sorrow did not impart his experience to others. He only shared his comprehension and understanding of battle. Big brother, I don't have enough strength. I can only pursue speed. Yin Yanxiao said after sparring with Ning Yun. Actually, strength and speed are interlinked. This requires a technique to add the inertia of speed to strength. This is how they complement each other. Ning Yun, your strength is strong. You can use the explosive force to charge forward and backward to increase your speed, Night Sorrow said. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Ning Yun and Yin Yanxiao nodded. Night Sorrow's words had opened a door for them. These are all universal. The other thing is to research the combat skills that you're good at and that are unique to you. Only then will you be different from ordinary cultivators, Night Sorrow reminded them again. With your guidance, they'll be able to avoid many detours. Aoi came to Night Sorrow's side. She looked at the departing figures of Yin Yanxiao and the others. It mainly depends on talent and aptitude. As for how far they can go, it depends on themselves. I'm also groping my way through cultivation, so the guidance I can give is limited, Night Sorrow said. Ah, your guidance is limited? Right now, you're the #1 person in the 9-domain world. How many people hope to get your guidance? That includes everyone. Yang Lei patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. Night Sorrow smiled. He hadn't thought about this. He had always been too busy. Afterwards, Night Sorrow took the girls for a stroll around Supreme Sky City. The current Supreme Sky City was completely different from when Night Sorrow had first come here. When Night Sorrow had first come here, Supreme Sky City didn't have any vitality. It was a barren land. But now it was filled with lush greenery and was full of vitality. Supreme Sky City had the Heaven Sealing Hall. With the restoration of the 9-domain world, the Heaven Sealing Hall was no longer in a state where it could only maintain itself. It had already spread its origin energy in all directions. In addition, the main city had been constructed, and the transmission array had been set up. Night Sorrow had said that Supreme Sky City would become the core of the 9-domain world. Therefore, the transmission array was set up to connect to the major cities of the various domains. With the Heaven Sealing Hall, there wouldn't be a problem with the flow of people in the future. Now the inns and restaurants had been built. As for the division of power, Night Sorrow didn't even ask about it. He believed that the commander's residence would handle it well. After walking around, Night Sorrow brought his 3 wives back to the Spacetime Treasure Pagoda. Everything is changing. The rise of the 9-domain world is unstoppable. It just needs time. Night Sorrow was still a little emotional. Yes, but you're too tired. Always felt sorry for Night Sorrow. It's nothing. It's just a special period. Once it's over, everything will be fine. Night Sorrow smiled. Night Sorrow knew that the most important factor in the future was when he became a king. Saint Kings had a limited lifespan. King didn't have this problem. Also, as long as a king-level sector lord didn't act rashly, he wouldn't die. If Night Sorrow could enter the king realm, then the 9-domain world could produce a king. For a world to produce a king-level cultivator, there were 2 conditions. First, it had to be a mature high-level world. The 9-domain world had just passed its tribulation to become a high-level world. However, it was just a newly formed high-level world. It still needed a long time to mature. The second condition was that the life form of the world broke through to the king realm. Therefore, the fastest way for the 9-domain world to develop was for Night Sorrow to break through to the king realm. After resting for a few days, Night Sorrow wanted to move. With the clone in the Heaven Sealing Hall guarding this place, it was safe. Night Sorrow brought his 3 wives to the eastern Shen region. The first place they went to was the Saint Hall. The Saint Hall was now truly a holy land. The first batch of members had produced many venerables. Most importantly, the Hall Master of the Saint Hall was the 9-domain world's realm lord, Night Sorrow. When Night Sorrow arrived, Yin Yanxiao, Ning Yun and Chiwei were also there. They were guiding the new students in the practice field. Night Sorrow didn't greet anyone. That would disturb the others' cultivation. Yishang glanced around and found that the rattan chair where he had been resting was still there. He walked over and lay down on it. The scene of him searching for return to origin still played in his mind. Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei and Aoi were hugging their shoulders as they watched the group of children cultivate. Who are you? Get up. That's not a place you can sit. When Night Sorrow closed his eyes to rest, a roar entered Night Sorrow's ears. What's going on? Night Sorrow was startled. This roar had given him a fright. Didn't you hear me? I told you to get up. A girl's figure stood there. Don't be so fierce. This is my chair. Night Sorrow didn't get up. He tidied his robes to rest more comfortably. What's going on? Bei Tiangu, who was originally resting at the front of the practice field, stood up. He's sitting on the hall master's seat and isn't getting up. The 16 or 17-year-old girl pointed at Night Sorrow. Following the girl's finger, Bei Tiangu saw Yishang. He quickly walked in front of Yishang, bowed and cupped his hands. Chapter 1080. What's going on? This is my own chair. Is there a problem with me sitting on it? Yishang looked at Bei Tiangu and said. He was not blaming anyone in his heart. It was just that he was interrupted while he was reminiscing, and he felt a little unhappy. Lord Commander, don't be angry. These new students don't know the situation. Bei Tiangu explained. Night Sorrow was the realm master of the 9 regions world. He was supreme in the 9 regions world. Whether it was strength or reputation, he was the highest. Let alone scolding him, no one could even say anything disrespectful. Anyone who attacked Night Sorrow would be the public enemy of the 9 regions world. But today in the holy hall that Night Sorrow had established, Night Sorrow had been scolded. Bei Tiangu felt very uncomfortable and even terrified. Forget it, it's nothing. It's just that I won't feel anything if I stay here any longer. You have a fiery temper. Work hard. Night Sorrow stood up and glanced at the girl. Then he left the holy hall with Sikong Chuyu and the others. Elder, I've caused trouble? The girl who had scolded Night Sorrow said with tears in her eyes. If the commander says it's nothing, then it's nothing. He won't care about this. It's rare for him to come and rest, but you scolded him and he ran away. Sigh. Bei Tiangu felt very helpless. Ah. Almost all the people who scolded my brother are dead. After scolding him, the only one who's fine is you. Very good. Follow me in the future. Yin Yin walked over with a smile and patted the girl's shoulder. Senior sister Lan Ling scolded your brother. Aren't you angry? The girl called Lan Ling looked at Yin Yin with some fear in her eyes. Elder said that if my brother says it's nothing, then it's nothing. Do you doubt my brother's tolerance? Besides, you're protecting my brother. Everyone knows that. Yin Yin smiled. Master established the holy hall to give some children who lack someone to take care of some warmth. He wants to see everyone live a happy life. It's just that you interrupted some of his thoughts. You don't have to worry about others blaming you. Ning Yun nodded to Lan Ling. Night Sorrow brought his wife to Qin Chen's tea house. Yongjiu. Be free small percent say, what a rare guest. You haven't been here for a long time. Why do you look so bad? As soon as Night Sorrow entered the tea house, Qin Chen came over with 2 jars of wine. Ah. He was just scolded by someone. It would be strange if his expression was good, Yang Lei said. Just now, that was someone from the 9 domains world. Who scolded you? Qin Chen's smile disappeared and anger appeared on his face. He was not happy. He knew how much Night Sorrow had sacrificed for the 9 domain world. He would protect Night Sorrow until the end. He's just a kid from the holy church. Don't blame me for not knowing. It's nothing. Night Sorrow shook his head helplessly. Ah, interesting. Let's drink. Make some dishes. Qin Chen chuckled and turned around to shout at the restaurant. Night Sorrow looked at Qin Chen and said, you're living a comfortable life as a boss. I'm actually very envious of your life. Then how many people envy you? What's wrong with you? Where's the child? Qin Chen looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I want one too, but my original body has been cultivating. I can only wait. Night Sorrow shook his head helplessly. I shouldn't have mentioned this, but you have to hurry up. Qin Chen looked at Night Sorrow's 3 wives and said apologetically. Night Sorrow nodded. He also wanted to do this. After drinking with Qin Chen and his wife, Night Sorrow took his wives for a walk around Juyuan City. Then they arrived at the Medicine Valley. The structure of the Medicine Valley had not changed. It was just that the older generation took some people to the Tianding Gate. Gong Xian was still in charge of the Medicine Valley. Seeing Night Sorrow and his wives coming back, Gong Xian and the older disciples of the Taishan Peak were very happy. It was inevitable that everyone would drink a lot. After that, Night Sorrow took his 3 wives to the Bamboo Forest Peak and stayed there. He just wanted to have a few days of peace. Night Sorrow, who lived in the Bamboo Forest Peak, was like an ordinary woodcutter. He chopped his own firewood, boiled his own water, and made his own tea. In the past, disciples of the Medicine Valley would come to ask Night Sorrow for advice. Now, there was no such thing because the Medicine Valley had set a rule that outsiders were not allowed to approach the Bamboo Forest Peak. Night Sorrow, do you like this life or do you just want to ease your mind? Sikong Chiu looked at Night Sorrow, who lit the fire and boiled the water, and asked. Both. In the blink of an eye, time flies like clouds and smoke. Looking back, 100 years have passed. Night Sorrow said with some emotion. I'm going to faint. 13, if I remember correctly, you were born a hunter, right? You can write poems now? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow with some surprise. What's wrong with being born a hunter? Old Man Gu taught me how to read and write since I was young. All these years, I have read a lot of alchemy, blacksmithing, and ancient books. Many of them are classical, so I know some poems, Night Sorrow said with a smile. That's true. What kind of person is our Night Sorrow? He's an all-rounder, Sikong Chiu said with a smile. I miss Old Man Gu a little. Let's go to the city in the sky to accompany him later, Night Sorrow said. After staying in the Bamboo Forest Peak for half a month, Night Sorrow, his wife Gong Xian, and the others bade farewell and returned to the city in the sky. Night Sorrow accompanied Old Man Gu for drinks and tea every day. Then they went to the lake on the boat. Night Sorrow rested for a few days. Shueshi came back with Hong Yi and Lan Ning. Knowing that Night Sorrow was at the lake, the three of them flew to the lake and landed on Night Sorrow's small boat. How is it? Is everything going well in Seven Night City? Night Sorrow, who was lying on the wooden boat, asked after moving his body. Everything is going well. I even went to Big Dipper City to see Bei Xing. The situation in Big Dipper City is very stable now. Bei Xing told me that the king under the sovereign's command is currently searching the Yanmen sect's area and BG City's area, Shueshi said. If they can't see me, they can only catch me blindly. I should show my face again, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Show your face for what? Isn't it very stable now? Shueshi looked at Night Sorrow and said, You don't have to worry about it. I'll go to Tianan Dynasty and kill them. Let them go to Tianan Dynasty to play. It should be interesting this way, Night Sorrow said. But it's dangerous. Shueshi was a little worried. It's okay to be careful. Night Sorrow nodded at Shueshi. He knew that Shueshi was worried about him. Night Sorrow, take us there. We can fight. Lanning looked at Night Sorrow and said, That's right. We are lacking in many areas, but fighting is not a problem. Red nodded. Okay, let's go. After Night Sorrow finished speaking, he leaped into the air. His arm released energy to wrap around the boat and the few of them, bringing them back to the shore. Then he took the teleportation array and left. Night Sorrow put on his mask and brought Red and Lan Ying to Tianan Dynasty's area. He took out a map and drew the area to attack. Night Sorrow knew about Tianan Dynasty. The only people who could threaten him now were Shang Tianfeng and Yuan Qianba. Night Sorrow was not afraid. If he teamed up with Red and Lan Ying, Yuan Qianba would not be a threat. Red and Lan Ying did not ask about Night Sorrow's plan. They just followed Night Sorrow to fight. Chapter 1081. You two put on a veil and disguise yourselves. That way there won't be any trouble in the future, Night Sorrow said to Hong Yi and Lan Ying. Night Sorrow wasn't worried about Hong Yi and Lan Ying being exposed. He was worried that it would be inconvenient for them to travel the world in the future. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Hong Yi and Lan Ying did as they were told. After coming to the Nine-Domain world, Hong Yi and Lan Ying had a sense of belonging to the Nine-Domain world. They didn't hate Night Sorrow, only respect. Therefore, Night Sorrow's opinion wouldn't be discounted. After entering the Tianan Dynasty city, Night Sorrow asked Hong Yi to guard the teleportation circle while he and Lan Ying started killing. Night Sorrow was already very fast when he was alone. Now that he had Lan Ying with him, his efficiency was greatly increased. A city lord's mansion was taken down in an instant. It couldn't be called a battle. It was a one-sided massacre. After one city, it was time for the next. Night Sorrow brought Hong Yi and Lan Ying to the Tianan Dynasty city and started slaughtering. After half a day, Night Sorrow had earned a lot and left the Tianan Dynasty's territory with the two girls. This time, Night Sorrow didn't leave behind any notes or clues for Shang Tianfeng. Hong Yi and Lan Ying were ruthless. They killed anyone they saw. Although there weren't any clues, everyone guessed that it was Night Sorrow's doing. Tianan Dynasty had been stable for many years. Only after Night Sorrow's appearance did the Tianan Dynasty's cities get attacked repeatedly. In addition, their attacking style was the same as Night Sorrow's, which was attacking the city lord's mansion and robbing resources. They didn't kill innocent people. When Night Sorrow was drinking tea in the city in the sky, Shang Tianfeng smashed the table in the Tianan palace into pieces. Investigate. Find out where he is. This emperor will personally kill him. Shang Tianfeng flew into a rage. In the Xian celestial realm there were many top forces. None of the leaders, the king, had his face trampled under the holy king's shoe like him. After hearing Shang Tianfeng's words, all the leaders in the hall bowed. No one could provoke Shang Tianfeng's anger right now. Night Sorrow, what other enemies do you have? Let's continue doing this. It's too exciting. Lan Ying looked at Night Sorrow and said, Hee, I have too many enemies. I can only use this one for the time being. Night Sorrow said. He didn't expect Lan Ying to be so aggressive. Then it's a deal. When you want to move, you have to call us. Lan Ying said. All right, I'll definitely bring you along when I can. Night Sorrow nodded. Once the Tianan dynasty was in trouble, the subordinates of the Zhangyun monarch, Moon monarch and Yuanling monarch all rushed to the Tianan dynasty to find Night Sorrow. As long as there was a glimmer of hope, they wouldn't let it go. Finding Night Sorrow was a great achievement for them. If they could get the soul cultivation liquid and give it to the monarch, they would definitely be valued by the monarch. Their future development would be much easier. With the monarch's protection, who wouldn't give face? In the Big Dipper city, Beixing, who was playing chess with the Big Dipper king, shook his head after hearing the news. Father, are these people stupid or what? Why are they being led around by Night Sorrow like dogs? Some things are blinded by the situation. They know that there's not much hope, but they're still unwilling to give up. Humans die for wealth and birds die for food. The Big Dipper king also shook his head. However, Night Sorrow is really brave. He dares to force himself in the limelight. His style is already clear. In the future, no one will dare to go against him easily. If they really want to take revenge, it'll be endless. Who wouldn't have a headache? Shang Tianfeng is probably going crazy now. Beixing said with a smile. Personality. Everyone's personality is different. This is Night Sorrow's personality. He doesn't provoke others, but if anyone bullies him, he'll fight to the end. I can only say that Shang Tianfeng was blind to provoke someone he shouldn't have. Have you guys met recently? The Big Dipper king asked with a smile. He's been busy recently, so he hasn't taken the initiative to look for me. However, someone close to him came and said that he needs some resources. Beixing poured a cup of tea for the Big Dipper king. He needs resources? What kind of resources does he need? The Big Dipper king asked, somewhat surprised. Father, you might not know, but a calamity has appeared in the 9 regions world. He's leading people to deal with it. He sent someone to deliver Holy Spirit stones and asked me to help him collect some materials, Beixing said. He's still growing. It's important to help him when he's in need. You can use the Big Dipper city's resources. Just help him as you see fit. I have no objections. The Big Dipper king expressed his thoughts. Father, he's not someone who takes advantage of others. The resources he needs are all in Holy Spirit stones. This guy's foundation of resources is very thick. Beixing said with a smile. That's true. He's a Saint King grade alchemist and artifact refiner. He has the ability to accumulate resources. The Big Dipper king nodded while stroking his beard. After Night Sorrow rested in Sky City, he asked Xueshi to go to Big Dipper City to find Beixing and check out the situation outside. He wasn't alone, so he naturally couldn't ignore the outside world. If he didn't understand the situation, a single misdecision would cause the 9 regions world to suffer heavy losses. Another purpose was to collect resources and materials. The calamity of the 9 regions world hadn't passed yet, so he still needed to stock up on poisons. Seeing Xueshi, Beixing asked about Night Sorrow's situation. Don't worry. Those trash from Tiannan dynasty can't do anything to Night Sorrow. They can only passively take a beating, Xueshi said. Xueshi said. There were some things that everyone had a tacit understanding of. Yishang also didn't hide his own matters from Beixing. Ha! Well done. Beixing clapped his hands and said. After talking with Beixing for a while, Xueshi went to rest in the mansion behind the Heavenly Master Pavilion while waiting for Beixing to collect resources. She had already given the Saint Spirit Stones to Beixing. Beixing was also very helpful. In half a day he gave the resources to Xueshi. They were the 7 extremes grass that Night Sorrow had used before. They could be used to refine the 7 extremes poison smoke. After expressing her gratitude to Beixing, Xueshi planned to leave. Tell Night Sorrow not to worry. If there's an emergency here, I'll go find him. Beixing said to Xueshi. New L Chapter Q plus previous. Xueshi cupped her hands to Beixing and left. She knew that Beixing and Night Sorrow were true friends. To put it bluntly, they were brothers. After getting the 7 extremes grass, Night Sorrow was very satisfied. The 7 extremes poison smoke was a very strong poison. If he used it, he could fight together with Hong Yi and Lan Ning. They could even kill a mid-king. Although he hadn't refined the 7 extremes poison smoke before, Night Sorrow wanted to try. The 7 extremes poison smoke was a high-grade Holy King poison. He could refine it. Last time, Elder Xiang was worried. After a few days and 1 failure, Night Sorrow refined more than 20 bottles of the 7 extremes poison smoke. After refining the 7 extremes poison smoke, Night Sorrow thought for a while and decided to attack the evil spirit world again. With this idea, Night Sorrow called for Hong Yi and Lan Ning. However, Wu Lingfei also came. Chapter 1082. Night Sorrow did not hide it from anyone and told them his thoughts. He wanted to kill the 3 commanders with intermediate king cultivation who were guarding the evil spirit king. One of them can't do it. I know his cultivation level. He's a 5-star king and his combat power is very strong. We can try the other 2, Redcoat said. If we can get rid of one, then let's go. Night Sorrow exhaled and said. Night Sorrow now understood some of the situation. The core of the evil spirit world's life source was the evil spirit king and the 9 commander king level. If he got rid of the 9 commander king level, then the evil spirit world's life source would be reduced by 50%, and the impact on the 9 domain world would be reduced by 50%. It was the same for destroying the evil spirit king. Night Sorrow did not want to destroy the evil spirit king. Without strength there would be no chance. However, he could still try to kill the relatively weak commanders among the intermediate king level. "I'll go too," Wu Lingfei said. "Aunt Fei, it's more dangerous," Night Sorrow said. He really did not want to bring Wu Lingfei along. "I'll enter your space treasure. I haven't seen the Battle of the King level, so I want to see it," Wu Lingfei said. "Okay, let's go together." Night Sorrow thought for a moment and felt that there was no problem, so he nodded and agreed. After putting Wu Lingfei into the dragon cauldron, Night Sorrow set off with Red Coat and Lan Ying. He did not put Red Coat and Lan Ying into the dragon cauldron because Red Coat and Lan Ying were king level, and Lan Ying was a 2-star king. Both of them were fast enough, so they did not need Night Sorrow to bring them along. In addition, Night Sorrow also needed them to lead the way. Teleporting to Haoyin Mountain under Haoyin City, Night Sorrow tore through space and brought Red Coat and Lan Ying into the evil spirit world. Then they flew under Red Coat's lead. In terms of cultivation, Lan Ying was higher than Red Coat, but in terms of intelligence, Red Coat was stronger, so Red Coat was the one leading the way. On the way, Night Sorrow explained his strategy. If they wanted to fight against the strong, then the strategy would be very important. First, poison him. Then use a violent attack to destabilize his mind. Then use a soul attack. Very good. That way our chances of winning will be much higher, Hong Yi said. We have to have a good chance of winning. Otherwise we'll just throw our lives away, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Night Sorrow, how can you still smile at this moment? How big of a crisis is this? If we don't deal with the evil spirit king, our 9-domain world won't be able to pass this tribulation. Lan Ying looked at Night Sorrow and said. She felt that Night Sorrow was too arrogant. Can't pass? As long as the evil spirit world can't break through the 9-domain world, I'm not afraid. I'll just suppress them, Night Sorrow said. The evil spirit abyss is the source of the evil spirit world. If the evil spirit king cultivates there, his cultivation will increase. You're busy every day. When will you be a match for him? Lan Ying said. Hee. There are some things that you don't know. This is not my true body. My true body is also cultivating. It is cultivating in the will of heaven and earth cave of the 9 firmament world group. My cultivation and realm increase is not slow either. Night Sorrow smiled at Lan Ying. That's not right. Isn't that your clone in the heaven ceiling Great Hall? Hong Yi asked. Above, yes, I cultivate a special doppelganger technique. I've cultivated 2 doppelgangers, Yishan explained. He also explained the situation of his doppelganger in the heaven ceiling Great Hall. After listening to Night Sorrow's explanation, Hong Yi and Lan Ying both had an idea. Lan Ying, who was more impatient, said, Night Sorrow, can we cultivate clones? After this war, I'll think of a way for you, Yishang said. He would not agree with Hong Yi and Lan Ying to cultivate doppelgangers now. Cultivating doppelgangers would damage their souls. If their souls were damaged, it would affect their battle prowess. Now was a critical time. Okay, then we'll count on you. Anyway, we are strong. We are the battle power of the 9-domain world and also your fighters. Lan Ying's words were very straightforward. As long as you don't hurt the 9-domain world, I will do whatever I can for you. Night Sorrow expressed his attitude. Hong Yi and Lan Ying nodded. Both of them had walked around the 9-domain world. They had some understanding of Night Sorrow's character and temperament. They knew that Night Sorrow was a man of his words. The World Master was the core of a world. His words were the law. It was impossible for him to go back on his words. The evil spirit world was about the same size as the 9-domain world. If they were to travel by scouting, it would be very slow. Now that Night Sorrow and the other 2 were traveling at full speed, it would not take them too long to travel millions of miles. After 7 days, the 3 of them arrived at the territory of the intermediate king Dao Yuan. When they arrived at their destination, Night Sorrow and the other 2 were very cautious. Night Sorrow also gave the antidote for the 7 absolute poison smoke to Hong Yi and Lan Ying, telling them to take the antidote if they saw Dao Yuan. Night Sorrow did not think that he would be lucky. He was a half-step king. No matter how strong his battle power was, he could not be compared to an intermediate king. The same went for Hong Yi and Lan Ying. Therefore, if they were to fight, they would use poison and fight to the death. Hong Yi and Lan Ying only knew the approximate area where Dao Yuan was. They still had to scout. They were about to fight an intermediate king. Night Sorrow was a little nervous, but he was more excited. Night Sorrow would gain a lot of benefits by killing a king. When the life of the evil spirit world died, their soul power would disperse. However, a part of it would become nutrients and be absorbed by the one who killed it. It would become the source of support. During the previous battle, Night Sorrow realized that his soul power had increased. Although it was his clone that absorbed it, Night Sorrow knew that his original body would also benefit. Regardless of whether a cultivator was a human or a shifter, once a cultivator cultivated a clone technique, the original body would always be the core. Half a day later, Lan Ying waved her arm at Night Sorrow. She had found Dao Yuan. At this time, Night Sorrow also found the target in the red battle suit. It was one of the 3 intermediate king commanders in the evil spirit world, Dao Yuan. Night Sorrow had eaten the antidote for the 7 deadly poison smoke. Hong Yi and Lan Ying had also eaten it. Although they did not say anything nervous, they were still worried about Dao Yuan. Night Sorrow and the other 2 discovered Dao Yuan. Dao Yuan also discovered the 3 of them and rushed toward them. Sensing Dao Yuan rushing toward them, Night Sorrow reminded Hong Yi and Lan Ying to use their energy to protect themselves. Then he crushed 2 bottles of 7 deadly poison smoke. When the 7 deadly poison smoke was condensed, it was light blue. However, once it was dispersed, it was colorless and odorless. Night Sorrow, Hong Yi and Lan Ying's energy shields had a special energy that blocked the colorless 7 deadly poison smoke. Dao Yuan arrived in front of the 3 of them. Hong Yi, Lan Ying, you 2 be asterisk cheese. You're not in your own territory but with the other races. Aren't you afraid that the evil spirit king will be angry and kill you? At this time, Dao Yuan naturally understood that Hong Yi and Lan Ying had betrayed him. You're the B asterisk cheese. What right do you have to scold us? Hong Yi was angry. In war, the winner becomes the king and the loser becomes a thief. So, there's no point in you spouting vulgarities. It only shows that you have no manners, Night Sorrow said coldly. Trash with a half-step king cultivation base. Go and die. I'll kill you later. Dao Yuan glanced at Night Sorrow. He did not care about Night Sorrow at all. Chapter 1083. You're the one who's going to die today. Night Sorrow waved his right hand, preparing for battle. The 7 deadly poison smoke had already spread. Night Sorrow was not in a hurry to fight. Stalling for time was beneficial to him. Red and Lan Ying naturally knew this, so they were not in a hurry to fight. You 2 deserve to die. I'll get rid of you on behalf of the evil spirit king. Dao Yuan's body burst with energy as soon as he finished speaking. His originally cold face became even more terrifying. Let's talk after you've done it. Who do you think you are? Do you know what we're here for today? We're here to kill you. Lan Ying growled as she slashed her long saber at Dao Yuan. Explosive. Night Sorrow realized that Lan Ying was very violent. Her personality was just like her strength, simple and violent. Lan Ying had already started the battle. Night Sorrow and Red also moved. The 3 of them began to attack Dao Yuan. Night Sorrow, Red, and Lan Ying knew that none of them had the ability or strength to fight Dao Yuan head-on. They would be at a disadvantage if they clashed with him. To solve this problem, Night Sorrow had told them not to worry about clashing with him head-on. Because the other 2 still had their killer moves, Dao Yuan could not attack one of them with all his strength. If Dao Yuan attacked with all his strength, he could definitely injure any of the 3 of them. However, he would not be able to deal with the other 2's killer moves. Hence, he could not attack one of them with all his strength. That was the truth. Dao Yuan could not attack any of the 3 of them with all his strength. When he waved his saber, he had to hold back most of his strength. This way he could protect himself from danger. The battle had only gone on for a short while when Dao Yuan's expression changed. The 7 deadly poison smoke had taken effect. He had inhaled the 7 deadly poison smoke into his body and it had begun to take effect. Sensing that Dao Yuan's condition was not right, Night Sorrow, Red, and Lan Ying's attacks became violent. They were all attacking with all their strength. Damn it! Were you the ones who poisoned me? Dao Yuan naturally understood what was going on when he realized that something was wrong with his body. You dare to scold us? Just wait for your death. Lan Ying said. She was still angry because Dao Yuan said that she and Hong Yi were sluts. Night Sorrow had the lowest cultivation level, but his attacks were the most ferocious. His bloodline talent, power of desolates and incorporeal chi were the 3 types of energy used to cast 3 different combat techniques. All of them were the most ferocious attacks. Dao Yuan stopped talking and used a portion of his quintessential chi to suppress and expel the poison in his body. He used 70% of his quintessential chi to fight against Night Sorrow and the other two. Aunt Fei, I want to use the Dragon Cauldron. Be careful not to get injured. Night Sorrow shouted at Wu Lingfei inside the Dragon Cauldron. Then he controlled the enlarged Dragon Cauldron and smashed it towards Dao Yuan. Seeing the gigantic Dragon Cauldron smashing towards him, there were people blocking him from behind and to the side. Unable to dodge, Saber Origin slashed upwards. Following the sound of metal clashing, the Dragon Cauldron was sent flying by Dao Yuan's slash. However, it did not break. The Dragon Cauldron was a defensive treasure. Its strongest point was its defense. After sending the Dragon Cauldron flying, Dao Yuan did not have it easy either. His body trembled from the impact. His right arm that was holding the sword also trembled uncontrollably. At this moment, Hong Yi, who was good at seizing opportunities, slashed her sword across Dao Yuan's back. Although Dao Yuan had a protective shield, Hong Yi's slash still caused him quite a bit of injury. A wound that was so deep that his bones could be seen appeared. Blood flowed down his robes. Translator, Timothy_editor. Globeglotter. Seeing that Hong Yi had made a breakthrough, Night Sorrow told Lan Ying to attack violently. Even if he was injured, he had to make Dao Yuan's blood flow turbulent and his mind unstable. After informing Lan Ying to do this, Night Sorrow did the same. He didn't defend and focused all his energy on attacking. Brat, I'll kill you first. Dao Yuan charged forward and slashed at Yishang with his saber. After fighting for a while, Dao Yuan realized that Night Sorrow was the core of the three's cooperation. So he wanted to kill Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow made up his mind. He did not dodge Dao Yuan's slash. Instead, he used Space Twisting Dragon Kill to attack Dao Yuan's Dantian. He was going to die together with Dao Yuan. Night Sorrow's tactic stunned Dao Yuan. Night Sorrow did not care about his life. Trading injuries for a life. I'll do it. Dao Yuan raised his eyebrows. He pushed his protective shield to the max and continued slashing downwards. He did not care about Night Sorrow's Space-Twisting Dragon Kill. He did not believe that Night Sorrow, who was half a step away from King, could do any harm to him. At the critical moment, alchemical cauldron patterns appeared around Night Sorrow's body. Within the alchemical cauldron patterns, there was the scene of time flowing. Night Sorrow planned to exchange blows with Dao Yuan. Naturally, he defended with all his might. The alchemical cauldron patterns were sent back into Night Sorrow's body by Dao Yuan's slash. The scene of time flowing appeared. It was a protective shield formed by the will of time supporting the power of desolates. Night Sorrow and Dao Yuan's attacks hit each other almost at the same time. Night Sorrow's Space-Twisting Dragon Kill was based on the spiral force. Its penetrative power was extremely strong. It directly pierced a hole in Dao Yuan's protective shield and pierced Dao Yuan's heart with Space-Twisting Dragon Kill. Dao Yuan's domineering slash shattered Night Sorrow's alchemical cauldron patterns and the power of Desolate's protective shield. The mid-level king's domineering attack had exceeded Night Sorrow's expectations. It was offset by the Dragon Cauldron and the protective shield supported by the will of space. Dao Yuan's remaining attack power was extremely strong. The entire blade slashed into Night Sorrow's body and into Night Sorrow's collarbone. Night Sorrow raised his left hand. His left hand, which was infused with energy, grabbed the back of Dao Yuan's blade. His right hand used Space-Twisting Dragon Kill. The exchange between Night Sorrow and Dao Yuan only lasted for an instant. However, Blood Robes and Lan Ying would not let go of this opportunity. Blood Robes' sword pierced Dao Yuan's back. Lan Ying, who was near Dao Yuan's left, cut off Dao Yuan's left arm. Due to his miscalculation, Dao Yuan, who was severely injured, roared and pushed Night Sorrow forward. Night Sorrow's body paused. He used all his strength to block Dao Yuan and then used Soul Destruction Slash. Night Sorrow could have used Soul Destruction Slash long ago. However, he had not used it because he felt that he had to save his trump card for an opportunity to kill in one strike. Now was the opportunity. Dao Yuan was too close to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's Soul Destruction Slash Crescent Moon Blade directly entered Dao Yuan's Spirit Sea. When Soul Destruction Slash entered Dao Yuan's Spirit Sea, it was blocked by Dao Yuan's Soul Power. When Dao Yuan used his Soul Power to defend, his combat awareness was low. Red Robe's longsword in Dao Yuan's body pressed down by 3 inches. Night Sorrow took 2 steps forward. Covering Sky Hand. Night Sorrow roared and used Covering Sky Hand, which he had not used in a long time. He pressed it toward Dao Yuan's head. Red Robes pressed her longsword down with all her might. She planned to cut Dao Yuan's legs with her longsword from his back, cutting him in half. Dao Yuan, who was in an extremely low state, was unable to dodge Night Sorrow's covering sky hand. With a cracking sound, Dao Yuan's head was crushed by Night Sorrow's covering sky hand. He could not be more dead. Chapter 1084. Dao Yuan's head was smashed by Night Sorrow's heaven-covering hand. His body was cut by Hong Yi's sword from his back to between his legs. His dantian was cut open, and Lan Ying waved her sword in an unknown direction. Night Sorrow, are you okay? Lan Ying, who had put away her sword, asked as she supported Night Sorrow. External injuries. They are nothing compared to the results of the battle, Night Sorrow said as he looked at his shoulder after putting away Sky Splitter. The wound on Night Sorrow's shoulder was no longer bleeding and had begun to heal. Let's take it slow. We can still kill him. You shouldn't take such a risk, Hong Yi, who had put away her sword, said worriedly. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that he could kill Dao Yuan even if he didn't go all out. He was worried that a long delay would cause trouble. The sooner he killed him, the better. Dao Yuan was killed by Night Sorrow, Hong Yi, and Lan Ying. His soul dispersed and was absorbed by Night Sorrow and the other two. Then the three of them began to meditate. Hong Yi and Lan Ying couldn't do this originally. When the three of them killed the beginner king, they didn't get any benefits. Now, they got the benefits because they thought they were from the 9-domain world and had the 9-domain sources as the origin of life. Not bad. We have gained a lot. Our soul power is much stronger. We have to do more of this, Lan Ying said as she stretched. You are too violent, Night Sorrow said as he stood up after finishing his cultivation. Night Sorrow, how is your body now? Hong Yi was more attentive. She was worried that Night Sorrow's injuries were serious. My external injuries are fine, but there is some energy left in my body. It will take a few days to refine and force it out, Yi Futian said. Yi Shang had gained a lot from killing Dao Yuan this time. Aside from the energy that his doppelganger had refined to replenish his soul, there was also some milky white energy that occupied the periphery of Yi Shang's divine sea. Yi Shang knew that it was energy that could strengthen one's soul, but he could not take it for now. Regarding this issue, Night Sorrow had discussed it with the 9-domain origins. Since it belonged to Night Sorrow's true body, his avatar could not take it. The doppelganger was just storing it for the main body. Then you can refine it first. We'll wait for you. When you've recovered to your peak state, we'll go and kill Lai Yan. We're not in a hurry anyway. Hong Yi nodded. Raging Flame was Night Sorrow's team of 3's second target. The other target was the intermediate King Azure River. Night Sorrow's team of 3 did not plan on taking action right now. The main reason was because Azure River's cultivation base and combat power were very high. It would be dangerous for the 3 of them to encounter him. Night Sorrow took out 2 tents. He gave one to Red Spectre and Blue Shadow and he went into the tent to heal himself. No matter what, Dao Yuan was still an intermediate king. After giving Night Sorrow a slash, not to mention the external injuries, the energy left in Night Sorrow's body was also very domineering. It would take Night Sorrow some time to deal with it. Red Spectre and Blue Shadow looked at each other in the tent. Both of them were shocked. Neither of them dared to take Dao Yuan's attack head-on. If they did, they would be cut in half. However, Night Sorrow had withstood it. One had to know that Night Sorrow was only a half-step king. The other two also knew that following Night Sorrow would have a bright future. It was much better than being a commander in the evil spirit world. Only when the evil spirit world broke through the 9-domain world would they have a chance to stand out. However, it was impossible to reach this step at the moment. Many of the evil spirit world's life forms had been destroyed. The origin energy was weak and it could not break through the 9-domain world. In Night Sorrow's words, as long as they could not break through the 9-domain world, he would not have to worry. He could continue to suppress them. Blue Shadow gave Red Spectre a thumbs up because she knew that Night Sorrow did not kill her and chose to subdue her. Red Spectre only smiled. She had the best relationship with Blue Shadow in the evil spirit world. Therefore, she was willing to help Blue Shadow and fight side by side with her if possible. Red Spectre, if we extinguish Lai Yan, the 9-domain world will be even more stable, Blue Shadow said. Lai Yan is stronger than Dao Yuan, but it's limited. It won't be difficult to destroy him. I'm wondering if I can think of a way to kill Azure River. That way there will only be one evil spirit king left, and the threat will be reduced, Red Spectre said. But you and I both know that Song Jiang is the strongest of the 9 commanders. He's not on the same level as us. We can't even take one of his attacks. If we can't even take one hit, then the effect of the joint battle will be lost. Lan Ying explained the difficulties. The premise of a joint battle was to be able to withstand the opponent's attack. Dao Yuan's attack could not be fully used. Night Sorrow and the other two could kill him, but this method would not work on Azure River. Even if Azure River held back to defend, a casual attack was not something that Night Sorrow and the other two could withstand because the difference in cultivation level was too great. Then we'll wait. When the commander recovers, we'll discuss it together. Not only is the commander strong in combat, but he's also good at strategizing. It's not something we can compare to, Red Spectre said. She knew that being able to successfully kill Dao Yuan had a lot to do with Night Sorrow's perfect strategizing. Night Sorrow healed his wounds while refining and forcing Dao Yuan's energy out of his body. Dao Yuan was an intermediate king. The energy he possessed was very domineering, much stronger than Gong Yanglia's. Night Sorrow used half a month to recover to his peak state. Night Sorrow, we're not in a hurry. Currently only Lai Yen can move. We have a lot of time and your situation is very important, Blue Shadow said as she looked at Night Sorrow, who was about to leave. I've already recovered. Let's get rid of Lai Yen first. There are only 2 commanders left in the evil spirit world. If the evil spirit king makes a move, we'll lose the chance to get rid of Lai Yen. We can't drag this out. If we drag this out, there will be variables, Night Sorrow said. Alright, we'll listen to you. Let's get rid of Lai Yen before resting. Blue Shadow nodded. She understood that Night Sorrow viewed the 9 regions world as extremely important. He had to do whatever he could for the 9 regions. Then the 3 set off with Red Spectre leading the way. Red Spectre, what's going on with the evil spirit abyss? Night Sorrow asked. I know about this. The evil spirit world is the world of the heavenly Tao's tribulation. It has existed for a long time, but the evil spirit abyss is not. It has existed for a long time. In other words, the evil spirit world was formed with the evil spirit abyss as the main body. The evil spirit king has also existed for a long time, Blue Shadow said. RQ front P front backslash. How do you know about this? Red Spectre looked at Blue Shadow in surprise because she didn't know about this. That bastard evil spirit king had thoughts about me, so he told me some things and even threatened me. Blue Shadow, who was wearing a blue robe, had a shy and angry look on her face. So that's how it is. Then how much do you know about the evil spirit king? Night Sorrow asked. He's a yin-yang person. Sometimes he appears as a man, sometimes as a woman. I don't know what kind of life he is, but he's very strong. At that time, the strongest of the 9 commanders, Songjiang, was somewhat arrogant and was taken care of by him. The current Songjiang is a man when he was a woman, Blue Shadow said. Chapter 1085. What a filthy thing. Goosebumps appeared all over his body and Night Sorrow shivered. He had never thought about the situation of the evil spirit king. Yes, it has 2 heads, 4 hands and 4 feet. However, it usually only appears on one side and the other is behind it. Lan Ning nodded. Fortunately, your taste is normal. Night Sorrow looked at Lan Ning and said with a smile. What are you talking about? Although my temper is too good, everything else is no different from an ordinary person. That guy is very dirty. In any case, I think he's very dirty. Lan Ning looked at Night Sorrow with disdain and said, Ah. He's definitely not as pleasing to the eye as you, Night Sorrow. Hong Yi said with a smile. Hong Yi, you've also become bad. Night Sorrow shook his head helplessly. Because his soul force was in the divine sense CS of Hong Yi and Lan Ning, he could feel their thoughts. Right now he could feel that both Hong Yi and Lan Ning had a good impression of him. Of course, Night Sorrow did not know if this good impression was of a friend or a man or woman. Night Sorrow, hurry up and enter the king's realm. That 9 regions world will produce a place where the will of the heavens and earth manifests in advance. Our realm and strength will increase a little faster. At that time, who in the 9 clouds world group will bully you? Lan Ning said. Alright, it won't be too long. I won't let you down. Night Sorrow nodded and said. There's no need to be too anxious. Let's get rid of the flames first and then talk about this. Hong Yi shook her head. She also didn't want Night Sorrow to feel too much pressure. Hong Yi and Lan Ning were not sovereigns of the 9-domain world. They had not broken the shackles of the 9-domain world that prevented them from producing sovereigns. In the 9-domain world, their realms and powers could not increase. Only when Yi Shang entered the sovereign realm could they continue to increase their realms and powers in the 9-domain world. Night Sorrow nodded. He also hoped that Hong Yi and Lan Ning would become stronger. This was beneficial to the 9-domain world. The more experts there were in the 9-domain world, the stronger it would be and the more stable it would be. As for whether Hong Yi and Lan Ying would have other thoughts or become a threat, Yi Shang was not worried because his soul power had merged with the two women's god pearls. He knew what Hong Yi and Lan Ying were thinking. He could kill them with a single thought. The territories of Dao Yuan, Lai Yan, and Sangjiang formed a triangle that guarded the evil spirit abyss. Therefore, the area where Lai Yan was located was not far from the area ruled by Dao Yuan. After half a month, Night Sorrow and the other two passed through Dao Yuan's territory and entered the area ruled by Lai Yan. What are the styles and characteristics of raging flames? Night Sorrow asked as a battle could break out at any time. King of the Fire attribute will of heaven and earth. He is an evil life being. Unlike us, he is not made of flesh and blood. He has the flame spirit flame body and is good at large-scale attacks. It can be said that he lives in a world of fire, Hong Yi said. This is not easy to deal with. Night Sorrow was stunned when he heard what Hong Yi said. His large-scale attacks are difficult to deal with, but the damage is average. It is not as strong as a single attack, so it is not much of a threat, Lan Ying explained. That's fine. If we can't handle large-scale attacks, then we won't be able to work together, Night Sorrow said. What Hong Yi said at the beginning had really shocked him. But you have to be mentally prepared. It will definitely be harder than killing Dao Yuan. Lan Ying nodded. Let's rest first. Let me show you something. After stopping, Night Sorrow took out the formation diagram of the three-person joint attack. He explained to Hong Yi and Lan Ying the positioning, attack and defense of the joint attack formation. Joint attack formation? Looking at Night Sorrow, Hong Yi said with some surprise. Night Sorrow nodded. He did not tell Lan Ying and Hong Yi about this before because time was short and he felt that it was unnecessary. Now that Raging Flames was strong, it was necessary to make more preparations. Night Sorrow then taught Hong Yi and Lan Ying how to cultivate the joint attack formation. The three of them were now the three strongest people in the 9 regions world. The joint attack formation formed by the three of them was the strongest trump card of the 9 regions world. Hong Yi and Lan Ying were both King Realm cultivators. The cultivation of a joint attack formation was naturally not difficult for them. It took them 2 days to master the joint attack formation. Night Sorrow, in addition to alchemy and artifact refining, you are also proficient in spirit arrays? Lan Ying asked when they were on the road again. #B, on section R of the new chapter, and because artifact refining requires engraving spirit arrays, I have also studied some spirit arrays. I am currently a Saint King Great Array Master. Night Sorrow nodded. Because of the influence of his realm, Night Sorrow's combat and support skills were at the peak below the King realm. You're ruthless enough. It's hard not to admire you. Right, since that's the case, we can arrange a spirit array to trap and kill Raging Flames. Wouldn't that be much easier? Lan Ying said. If we know where Raging Flames is in advance, I can arrange a large spirit array nearby and lure him into it. Although the spirit array cannot cause him much damage, it can still affect him. Night Sorrow pointed out the difficulty. And this is indeed a difficult problem to solve. If we can solve this problem, we can all try to deal with Sangjiang, Lan Ying exhaled and said. It's not that there's no way a spirit array disk can solve this problem, but refining a spirit array disk is very troublesome. I don't have any preparations in this regard. This time we'll kill Raging Flames first, then I'll go back and make some preparations. I'll go get some materials to refine a spirit array disk. If I can refine one myself, that would be best, but if I can't, I'll pay a high price and exchange resources with others, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Lan Ying's words gave Night Sorrow some ideas. The scene of Qin Bai and Black Wind using an array disk to trap the Vajra Monarch in the Endless Weave was still fresh in Night Sorrow's mind. As for the spirit array disk, if Night Sorrow wanted to use it, there would definitely be one. It was just that the channels to obtain it were different, either through refining or buying. Night Sorrow had a lot of treasures now, so it was still possible for him to exchange for high-grade and top-grade spirit array disks. The No Beginning Sovereign was a high-level array master, and the No Beginning spirit array disk was his masterpiece. In addition, the mysterious Heaven Sovereign still owed Night Sorrow a favor, so it wasn't difficult to ask him for a spirit array disk. The Seven Rain Sovereign was also a channel. Night Sorrow had the soul cultivation liquid in his hands, so it was very easy for him to get the monarch to do something for him. It just depended on whether he was willing to take out the soul cultivation liquid or not. In addition, it was necessary to prepare some spirit array disks. At Sangjiang was nothing, but the biggest threat was the evil Spirit King. It was also necessary to get a top-grade spirit array disk for a rainy day. What are you thinking about? Lan Ying looked at Night Sorrow and asked. You gave me some inspiration. There are strong people in the 9 firmament world, and they also have top-grade spirit array discs. I can get some top-grade spirit array discs. When the evil spirit king appears, we can use them. This is equivalent to having some solutions. At the very least, it can restrict the evil spirit king's methods, Night Sorrow said. Spirit array discs to deal with the evil spirit king? What level would that require? Can you get it? Lan Ying was a little doubtful. Chapter 1086. We don't know yet, but we can find someone to ask. Let's kill Lai Yen first and study Azure River before we talk about the evil spirit king. In fact, we can know where Lai Yen is in advance, but we don't have to go through so much trouble with the combined attack formation, Night Sorrow said. How do we know where Lai Yen is in advance? Red asked. It's very simple. Lai Yen is the sovereign king of the will of the fire world. He will definitely find a place with dense flames to reside in. In addition, he also has a dense fire aura. We can sense it in advance. Night Sorrow explained the reason why he knew where Lai Yen resided in advance. Indeed, we didn't think too much about it. If the 3 of us use the combined attack formation, it won't be a big problem. We can kill our way over now. Red nodded. The 3 of them chatted as they continued to search for Lai Yen. If Lai Yen was eliminated, the evil spirit world would lose a high-level warlord, which would be a great blow to the evil spirit world. After searching for 3 days, Night Sorrow waved his hand to stop Red and Lan Ying. The fire energy in front is relatively strong. If I'm not wrong, Lai Yen is in front. Red and Lan Ying nodded. They also felt it. I didn't plan to set up a formation, but now that I have the chance, I'll set up a formation. It's not very troublesome anyway. Night Sorrow began to set up the formation. It was the 1000 derivation illusory formation and Black Entropy's Great Cycle formation. Although he felt that with the combined attack formation, killing Lai Yen would not be a big problem, Night Sorrow felt that it was good to have an extra layer of insurance. This way they could prevent some variables. In 15 minutes, Night Sorrow finished setting up the formation. It's done? Lan Ying's eyes were filled with doubt. Do you only believe in its power after I set it up in a few days? This formation can trap a beginner king. It can't trap a mid-level king, but it can affect it. Night Sorrow took out a wine jar and took a sip. Well, let's get to work. The sooner we finish, the sooner we can be at ease. Red nodded to Lan Ying. She believed in Night Sorrow. It's not that I don't believe it, I just feel that this array formation is a bit too fast. Lan Ying shook her head and said, You two enter my spatial magic treasure as well. I will approach through spatial turbulence and catch them off guard. When the time comes, we will tear open space and kill them, Night Sorrow said to Red Shirt and Blue Shadow. Seeing Hong Yi and Lan Ying nod, Night Sorrow's soul power surged, enveloping the 2 women and bringing them into the Dragon Cauldron. He then used Space Crack and entered the turbulent space to investigate. After advancing for an hour, Night Sorrow entered the Dragon Cauldron. How's Night Sorrow doing? Wu Lingfei, who couldn't participate in the battle, asked worriedly. Found him. I can't detect his cultivation base. We can only fight him head-on, Night Sorrow said. Then we'll start in a while. Lan Ying was an impatient person. Knowing the location of the flames, she was full of fighting spirit. Okay, I'll be the main attacker. Blue Shadow will come in second, and Red Spectre will follow behind to deal the killing blow, Night Sorrow joked. Among the 3, Lan Ying's cultivation base was the highest, followed by Red Spectre, and Night Sorrow was the lowest. However, in terms of strength, Night Sorrow was the strongest. Whether it was attack power, speed, or defense, Night Sorrow was the highest among the 3. Okay, then we'll do as you say. Lan Ying nodded. She didn't try to be brave because Night Sorrow's combat power was indeed much stronger than hers. After drinking a pot of tea made by Wu Lingfei, Night Sorrow nodded to Red Spectre and Blue Collar. Energy enveloped the 2 of them and brought them out of the Dragon Cauldron. Bringing the 2 women to where Lai Yen was, Night Sorrow didn't say anything to Red Spectre and Lan Ying. He directly used Space Crack. As soon as Night Sorrow used Space Crack, Red Spectre and Lan Ying rushed out. The 2 of them waved their weapons and attacked Lai Yen, who was still in a daze. Following closely behind, Night Sorrow used Space Crack and used Space Whirling Dragon Kill to attack Lai Yen. Lai Yen was a humanoid life form that was more than 2 feet tall. Its body was completely composed of flames. There was a spinning energy vortex in its dantian, and its head was relatively solid. Night Sorrow knew that Lai Yen was a flame energy body, but the core was no different from a human cultivator. The main parts of the body were still the dantian and divine sense C, So Night Sorrow attacked Lai Yan's Dantian, because Lan Ying's saber attacked Lai Yan's head, which was the area where the divine sense was located. Red Spectre's longsword attacked Lai Yan's back, which was also the position of her Dantian. Red Spectre Lan Ying, you two trash dare to attack my Lai Yan. Today I will kill you. Seeing Red Spectre and Lan Ying attack her, Lai Yan roared. The fiery red longsword in her right arm blocked up and down. She leaned to the side and punched behind her. Let's fight. Don't talk nonsense. Lan Ying's saber continued to slash down fiercely. Night Sorrow's attack was an attack that Lai Yan had to spend energy to deal with. After blocking Night Sorrow's attack, it would not be so easy for Lai Yan to block her attack again. Red Spectre's body flashed, dodging Lai Yan's punch. His longsword continued to attack Lai Yan's back. Lai Yan blocked Night Sorrow's attack and repelled Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow retreated, and Lan Ying's attack reached the top of Lai Yan's head. At this time, Lai Yan waved her longsword to block, but it was a little too late. It was also a little hasty and the energy burst could not keep up. She was killed by Lan Ying's saber and her legs sank into the ground. At this time Red Spectre, who was attacking behind Lai Yan, also broke through Lai Yan's protective shield. The sword chi pierced into Lai Yan's body. With a low roar, Lai Yan waved the longsword in her right hand and repelled Lan Ying. Then she turned around and kicked Red Spectre back. However, Night Sorrow's attack came again. This time Night Sorrow used the Void Extreme Kill. Damn it. Feeling Night Sorrow's suppressive aura, Lai Yan roared. The fiery red longsword in her hand faced Night Sorrow's Sky Rend. As the purple halo on Night Sorrow's Sky Rend exploded, the fiery red and almost transparent longsword in Lai Yan's hand was annihilated from the tip until it was 2 feet long. While Lai Yan was shocked, Lan Ying's long saber slashed across Lai Yan's left shoulder, taking away a piece of red energy. After the energy left Lai Yan's body, it turned into a piece of fiery red ore. That was Lai Yan's body. Flame or a king-level top-grade material. The energy that fell from Lai Yan's body, after solidifying, was a top-grade refining material, Flame Oregon. Several figures flew on the ground and in the air. Lai Yan's king was very strong, but Night Sorrow's group of 3's attack formation was well coordinated, and their defense and attack complemented each other. Lai Yan could not injure anyone even if she wanted to break them one by one. Red Spectre Lan Ying, you two bitches, aren't you afraid of the evil spirit king's anger? Just wait for your death. A third of the energy in her body was cut off by Night Sorrow's group. Lai Yan did not plan to fight anymore. Her body flashed and began to escape. Lai Yan's escape speed was very fast. The burst of flame energy increased her movement speed. Night Sorrow's expression changed. He communicated with Red Spectre and Lan Ying with his soul power. The 3 of them forced Lai Yan to run in the direction of the formation. Chapter 1087. After listening to Night Sorrow's reminder, Hong Yi and Lan Ying blocked the 2 sides of Lai Yan's body. Night Sorrow's Will of Time and Will of Space were both added to his movement technique, and he even used the sky-piercing spear shooting technique. After being disturbed by Night Sorrow, Lai Yan's body flashed twice, overtaking Night Sorrow who was chasing him, and ran in the opposite direction. He was not afraid of Night Sorrow, but if he was entangled, Hong Yi and Lan Ying would rush up, and he would still be in a difficult battle. Lai Yan turned around and with the influence of Hong Yi and Lan Ying's position, the direction Lai Yan left in was the direction Night Sorrow and the other 2 had come from, which was also the direction where Night Sorrow had set up the formation. Lai Yan's speed was very fast. He did not fight and only ran. Night Sorrow and the other 2 were really not his opponent, and the distance between them was slowly pulled apart. Night Sorrow was very helpless. At this time he could only resign himself to fate. If Lai Yan rushed into the formation, then he was unlucky. If he did not enter the formation, then this hunt would end in failure. Poison was effective when hunting Dao Yuan, but it was useless against Lai Yan. Lai Yan was a fire energy body, and the poisonous smoke would be burned when it got close. It was impossible to have any effect. Although Night Sorrow and the other 2 could not catch up, it still had an invisible influence on Lai Yan. He was running in a straight line. In just a quarter of an hour, Lai Yan rushed to where Night Sorrow and the other 2 were resting, which was the place where the formation was set up, and rushed into the formation. Follow the guidance of my soul power. Enter the formation and attack with all your strength. Seeing Lai Yan rush into the formation, Night Sorrow was very excited. The opportunity had come again. Whether they could kill Lai Yan or not depended on whether they could seize this opportunity. This was an opportunity obtained by luck. The formation was Night Sorrow's home ground. Other than Night Sorrow, whether it was Lai Yin, Hong Yi, or Lan Ning, they were all blind. Their soul power was blocked by the illusion formation. At this time, Raging Flame also understood that he had fallen into an array formation. He could only attack, intending to break the array formation by force. If there was no one guarding it, the formation would not have been able to withstand the violent attacks of the King of Flames. However, Night Sorrow was guarding the formation. He blocked the energy released by the flames and directed the red coat and blue shadow to attack at the same time. Fighting a blind man with his eyes wide open was the portrayal of the four people inside the formation. With the help of the array formation, Night Sorrow was able to neutralize Raging Flame's King's attack much easier than outside the array formation. 15 minutes later, Night Sorrow informed Blue Shadow and Red Coat to attack violently. He also used a continuous battle skill, Void Extreme Point Kill and Spatial Shockwave, to attack Lai Yen violently. Night Sorrow wanted to end the battle. The array formation was almost exhausted by the sputtering energy of the four people in the battle. It would be broken in a moment, so Night Sorrow wanted to end the battle quickly. Noticing that Night Sorrow's space splitter had pierced out from the void, Lai Yan's right arm shook and he threw out a punch. His weapon had been damaged by Night Sorrow's previous attacks, so he could attack bare-chested. A purple halo burst out from a point once again, and then annihilated Lai Yan's right fist. In addition, Lan Ying's long blade, under Night Sorrow's guidance, also slashed through the air. His target was the back of Lai Yan's head. Hong Yi's long sword appeared, attacking the back of Lai Yan's heart. All three of them used their killing moves. With his right hand crippled, Lai Yan's left fist punched out, continuing to block Night Sorrow's attack. At the same time, he twisted his body to avoid Lan Ning and Red Coat's killing moves. Facing the attack of Lai Yan's left hand, Night Sorrow's space vibration wave exerted force, and the energy continued to vibrate and consume Lai Yan's attack. Lan Ying's long blade did not slash at Lai Yan's head. It cut down from Lai Yan's shoulder and directly cut off Lai Yan's right arm. Hong Yi's long sword also pierced into Lai Yan's waist. Soul Annihilation Slash. Seeing that Lan Ning and Red Coat's attacks were effective, Night Sorrow gritted his teeth and used Soul Annihilation Slash. If it wasn't necessary, Night Sorrow really didn't want to use Soul Annihilation Slash. Lai Yin was a fire energy body, and the periphery of the Divine Sense C was also fire energy. It was harmful to Night Sorrow's Soul Annihilation Slash Crescent Moon Blade. At this time, Night Sorrow didn't have much of a chance. The array formation was about to be broken. If he couldn't kill Lai Yin, then he wouldn't have another chance. Needle-like pain. The fire energy burned Night Sorrow's Soul Annihilation Slash, making him feel very uncomfortable. However, he also endured the Crescent Moon Blade and cut through the fire energy into Lai Yan's Divine Sense C. Lan Ning 2 feet to the left, slash again. Night Sorrow growled. With the Divine Sense C being attacked, Lai Yan's intelligence fell into a daze. She was unable to dodge Lan Ying's attack and her head was cut open by Lan Ying's blade. Night Sorrow's Soul Annihilation Slash also broke through Lai Yan's Divine Sense C. The fire energy on Lai Yan's body stabilized and her body gradually solidified into a fiery red ore. Night Sorrow, who had retracted the Soul Annihilation Crescent Moon Blade, swayed for a moment and his face turned pale. The fire energy was very harmful to the Soul Annihilation Crescent Moon Blade condensed from his soul force. Taking a deep breath, Night Sorrow paused the operation of the array formation. The energy dissipated and the surroundings were a mess. The battle between the four of them had caused a huge impact on this place. Night Sorrow, are you alright? Hong Yi stepped forward to support Night Sorrow. Both she and Lan Ning could see that Night Sorrow's condition wasn't right. And I'm a little injured. It won't be a big problem after resting and recovering. Are you guys okay? Night Sorrow asked. Hong Yi and Lan Ning nodded. The pressure of the battle was borne by Night Sorrow. The two of them really didn't have much of a problem. Lan Ning, go to the first battlefield and collect the ore formed from Lai Yan's energy. That's a top-grade material for refining. Night Sorrow pointed to Lan Ning in the direction of the first battle with Lai Yan. Lan Ning nodded and went to do her job. She also knew that it was a top-grade material. When Lan Ning returned, Night Sorrow brought Lan Ning and Hong Yi into the Dragon Cauldron. Night Sorrow, are you alright? Wu Lingfei asked. Night Sorrow didn't let the Dragon Cauldron's artifact spirit seal the Dragon Cauldron, so Wu Lingfei knew everything that happened outside. It's not a big problem. It's just that when I used the Soul Extinguishing Slash, My soul was burned by Lai Yan's fire energy. I'll be fine after recovering. There are only two experts left in the evil spirit world, the evil spirit king and Sangjiang. The evil spirit world doesn't pose much of a threat to the nine-domain world. After killing Lai Yan, Night Sorrow felt a lot more at ease. The king-level commander of the evil spirit world had already been subdued and killed by Night Sorrow. The origin of the evil spirit world had weakened a lot. With Night Sorrow's clone controlling the heaven-sealing Great Hall to suppress it, the evil spirit world had no possibility of breaking through the nine-domain world. There was only one crisis left, whether the evil spirit king would attack the nine-domain world. The matter has been settled. You should have a good rest. Wu Lingfei brewed a pot of tea for Night Sorrow. I'll make a trip to the mysterious sky world and see if I can get the array disc. I'll leave the array disc to my clone in the heaven-sealing Great Hall to prevent the evil spirit king and Sangjiang from charging into the nine-domain world. This way the situation can be stabilized. When I'm strong enough I'll go in and kill them. Night Sorrow spoke his thoughts. Original Wu Lingfei, Lan Ying and Hong Yi didn't have any objections to Night Sorrow's decision. At this moment, Night Sorrow was thinking about who to find to solve the problem of the array disc. The Seven Rain Sovereign or the No Beginning Sovereign. Night Sorrow naturally hoped that the Seven Rain Sovereign could take out the array disc to exchange for his soul cultivation liquid. After all, they were still related. Chapter 1088. The crux of the problem was that it was hard to say whether the Seven Rain Sovereign was good at arrays or not. If he asked, the Seven Rain Sovereign would not be able to get the array disc and things would not end well. Should he give the soul cultivation liquid or not? What was left for Night Sorrow was a problem. Night Sorrow was sure that the No Beginning Sovereign could refine array discs, and the No Beginning array disc was made by him. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow shook his head. The Seven Rain Sovereign was really generous. This time he even sent Ao Luyun to help him. He should give him a chance. Whether he had the array disc or not, he would see. Night Sorrow did not say these words to anyone. There was no point in talking. He had to deal with it himself. After dealing with Lai Yan, Night Sorrow was much more relaxed. They were not in a hurry. After a month, Night Sorrow and the rest returned to the Nine Regions world. After staying with his family for 2 days, Night Sorrow took the transmission array to Big Dipper City. He met Ao Luyun in the inn. You should not have shown yourself. Night Sorrow had just entered the inn when Ao Luyun appeared. I have something to ask you this time. Night Sorrow went straight to the point. Speak. What is it? See if I can do it. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Ao Luyun was stunned. I want to see the Seven Rain Sovereign. I have something to discuss with him. Night Sorrow said. All right, I will go back and talk to Master. Ao Luyun stood up and said. Night Sorrow also stood up. At the same time he handed a soul crystal to Ao Luyun. When you come back, crush my soul crystal. I will come immediately. After parting with Ao Luyun, Night Sorrow returned to the mansion behind the Sage Master Pavilion. The problem of the Nine Regions world had been solved. Now, he had to pay attention to the situation in the Heaven Profound world. After staying in the Sage Master Pavilion for 2 days and discussing the current situation with Bei Xing, Night Sorrow felt that everything was stable. He returned to Seven Nights City. After looking at the city's construction, he went to Seven Nights Lake. When Night Sorrow arrived at the Seven Night Lake, he saw that his 3 wives, Xuexi and Zhu Jiyun, were all there. Jiyun, how is your original body? Night Sorrow asked Zhu Jiyun. I don't know. I'm still trying to comprehend it. It's hard to say when I'll be able to make it. Zhu Jiyun shook his head. After hearing Zhu Jiyun's words, Yi Shang, who was holding the teacup, stopped moving. Then his aura began to change. The scene of time flowing appeared on his body, and the aura on his body became mysterious. Half an hour later, Night Sorrow finally moved. His face was filled with joy. Sovereign King? Zhu Jiyun looked at Yi Shang with surprise and shock in his eyes. Forever equals free of RF Time King, 2-star Time King early stage. Night Sorrow waved his arms. His heart was filled with joy. His original body's cultivation was very effective. He was very happy. Directly reaching 2-star King, this is a joyous occasion. I'll prepare some dishes to celebrate, Yang Lei said excitedly. While drinking, Night Sorrow was still thinking. 13. This is such a joyous occasion. Why aren't you saying anything? What are you thinking about? Alway looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I'm thinking about whether I should continue to break through the will of time or switch to cultivating the will of space. I think if I have a request, Nine Heavens Pagoda should agree. Night Sorrow spoke his thoughts. I think you should continue to break through the will of time. This way you will have great achievements in one direction. Zhu Jiyun spoke his thoughts. Sikong Chuyu and the others discussed for a moment and came to the same conclusion. There are some things you are not clear about. After entering the king state, my will of time can be cultivated even if I am not in an area where the will of heaven and earth manifests. However, the will of space is different. I think I should reach the beginner level of the will of space. That way, I can continue to cultivate the will of space even when I am not inside Nine Heavens Pagoda. Additionally, while I have the will of time, my cultivation base has not caught up, Night Sorrow said. The reason Night Sorrow had woken up from his meditative state was because he had broken through the bottleneck of the two-star king state. The difference between the power and cultivation base within his body was too great. Thus, his meditative state was forcibly interrupted. Then we'll do as you say. Sikong Chuyu and the others nodded. After listening to Night Sorrow's analysis, they had changed their minds. Next, Night Sorrow and the others drank together. Everyone was very happy. After Night Sorrow's original body stopped cultivating, he called for Nine Heavens Pagoda's essence. Nine Heavens Pagoda's essence appeared. First, it congratulated Night Sorrow. Next, it asked Night Sorrow why he had called for it. Senior, I have already reached the beginner level of the will of time. Now, I want to cultivate the will of space. That way, if I can reach the beginner level of the will of heaven and earth, my cultivation in this grotto will be complete, Night Sorrow said, bowing. Good, that is not a problem. Whenever you want to cultivate a will, you can inform me. As long as it is below the autark level, I will cooperate with you while you are cultivating. Additionally, I have already isolated your aura. Lightning tribulation will not descend for now. The moment you exit Nine Heavens Pagoda, lightning tribulation will descend. The voice of Nine Heavens Pagoda's essence entered Night Sorrow's ears. Night Sorrow thanks Senior. Night Sorrow bowed again. At that moment, the scenery around Night Sorrow's body began changing. The display of the will of time had also shifted to space. Once again sitting down cross-legged, Night Sorrow took out the king-class silver dragon blood essence he had obtained during the auction. He absorbed the energy within it to cultivate. When Night Sorrow had arrived, he had already made some preparations. He had the basic resources in his storage ring. Whether it was the will of space or the will of time, as long as he entered the king realm, he could cultivate them quickly and keep up with his cultivation base. Now that his cultivation had entered the two-star sovereign king realm, Yishang was very confident. Once his cultivation increased, he would even be able to fight against a middle-stage sovereign king. Holding the silver dragon blood essence, Night Sorrow's original body entered the state of comprehension once more. 7 Night City. After drinking the celebratory wine, Night Sorrow began cultivating his combat skills. With his cultivation base, he would be able to control more will of heaven and earth. The power of his combat skills would also increase. Thus, Night Sorrow needed to familiarize himself with and master his combat skills. Because his cultivation base could not keep up with Night Sorrow's will, the power of will on his body was very intense. Only when his cultivation base reached a certain level would his aura stabilize. After cultivating quietly in 7 Night City for a month, the soul crystal Night Sorrow had left behind for Ao Luyun cracked. This told him that the 7 Rain Monarch had replied. As for whether the 7 Rain Monarch would like to see him, Night Sorrow did not know. However, he knew that the 7 Rain Monarch had given him a chance to meet. That was equivalent to giving herself a chance. After greeting the girls beside him, Night Sorrow took the teleportation array to Big Dipper City. He then arrived at the inn. Just as Night Sorrow arrived at the inn, Ao Luyun appeared. Ao Luyun was a king. Naturally, she could sense Night Sorrow's aura. Seeing Night Sorrow, Ao Luyun's eyes were filled with shock. She had just met Night Sorrow a month ago. At that time, Night Sorrow had become a disciple of a half-step king. Now, however, he was already a 2-star king. This was a breakthrough across realms. 2-star king? Ao Luyun could not help but ask. Chapter 1089. I was lucky enough to break through. Night Sorrow nodded. This was something that could not be hidden. Ao Luyun suppressed his shock and brought Night Sorrow into her room. Then he handed a soul crystal to Night Sorrow. Master is a monarch. It is not convenient for her to enter the territory of other monarchs. This is a strand of her soul power. You can talk to her and see if there is a need to meet. Alright, I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. Then Aoluyan left the room. Night Sorrow exerted force with his right hand and crushed the Seven Rain Monarch's soul crystal. As the soul crystal shattered, the energy in front of Night Sorrow vibrated. Then, the Seven Rain Monarch in a white dress appeared in front of Night Sorrow. The Seven Rain Monarch looked at Night Sorrow with astonishment in her eyes. Amidst her astonishment, she waved her arm and set up a barrier. 2-star Time Monarch. Night Sorrow, you really won't stop until you shock someone to death. Lord Monarch is too kind. Night Sorrow was just lucky. Night Sorrow cupped his hands and said, Can this be explained by luck? Would you believe what others say? What trouble have you encountered that you need my help to solve? The Seven Rain Monarch looked at Night Sorrow. There was only one kind of emotion in her eyes, and that was admiration. I want to make a deal with Lord Monarch. Night Sorrow said. A deal? That is not necessary. Just say the word. If I can help you, I will definitely help you. I just hope that you can seriously consider whether you want to join the Seven Rain Realm. The Seven Rain Monarch shook her head. She did not say that it was easy. Maybe the word deal is too harsh. Night Sorrow is helpless. How should I put it? I want to give myself and Lord Monarch a chance. Here is the thing. I am facing a threat from a high-level king. I need a solution. For example, the formation plate. I can give you 3 drops of soul cultivation liquid in return. Night Sorrow said. Soul cultivation liquid? You really did obtain this soul cultivation liquid. High-level king realm is also different. Take you for example. When you enter the high-level king realm, your actual battle strength is comparable to that of a monarch. In terms of research on arrays and array disks, in the 9 Firmament World Group, no one can surpass Monarch No Beginning. The Seven Rains Monarch said. I know. I've seen the No Beginning Monarch's disciple use the No Beginning array disk before. I'm looking for the Monarch because there is a good karma between the Monarch and me. Night Sorrow explained the reason he was looking for the Seven Rain Monarch. Very good. You are indeed giving me a chance. How about this? My attainments in arrays are average, but I can also refine array disks. I will immediately start refining them. In addition, I will send someone to deliver the Seven Rain God Sealing Pagoda to you. I will also send you my high-level soul crystal. My spiritual body will cooperate with you to use the God Sealing Pagoda. Killing a high-level king is still possible. The Seven Rain Monarch said. Good. Night Sorrow thanks the Seven Rain Monarch. This is soul cultivation liquid. I hope it will be of some help to you. Night Sorrow took out a jade bottle and handed it to the Seven Rain Monarch. Latest updates / new updates, then I won't say any polite words. Remember, if you need anything, call me. I am your friend. After speaking, the Seven Rain Monarch removed the barrier and called Aoluyan in. Master. After entering the room, Aoluyan bowed. Bring this back to me. Also, I have something to instruct you on when you return. Remember, Night Sorrow has been my friend since we met. He will be my friend in the future. After instructing Aoluyan, the Seven Rain Monarch's spiritual body dissipated. How long a spiritual body could exist and how much combat power it had would depend on how much spiritual power it poured into the soul crystal. How do I find you after I return? Aoluyan asked Night Sorrow after keeping the jade bottle. Night Sorrow casually made a soul crystal and handed it to Aoluyan. Just crush it. Aoluyan cupped his fists towards Night Sorrow and left the inn. Aoluyan's attitude towards Night Sorrow had changed. He was much more respectful now. The reason Aoluyan respected Night Sorrow was because of the Seven Rain Monarch's instructions. Another reason was because of Night Sorrow himself. Aoluyan was very clear about Night Sorrow's situation. A half-step king could fight and kill kings. Now that Night Sorrow was a 2-star king with advanced attributes, a basic king was no longer a match for Night Sorrow. An intermediate king against Night Sorrow was also unknown. After sending Aoluyan off with his eyes, Night Sorrow returned to Northstar's mansion and happened to run into her. Northstar's eyes were filled with astonishment when she saw Night Sorrow. She was a half-step king. Naturally, she could see through Night Sorrow's situation. How did you become a 2-star king without saying anything? I just broke through. I didn't see you when I arrived, Night Sorrow said with a smile. You are ruthless enough. Celebrate. We must celebrate. You return to the Celestial Master Pavilion first. I'll go to the Heavenly Star Pavilion to prepare some food and wine. Well done, well done. Northstar gave Night Sorrow a thumbs up. She was only happy that Night Sorrow had entered the king's realm. She didn't have any other emotions, nor did she feel any jealousy. Knight Sorrow nodded and returned to the mansion behind the Celestial Master Pavilion. He brewed a pot of tea and waited for Northstar. At this time Knight Sorrow was very relaxed. His entry into the king's realm would trigger a series of chain reactions. The 9-domain world's doppelganger that had fused with the heaven-sealing Great Hall would become even stronger. Suppressing the evil spirit world wouldn't be a problem. In addition, his alchemy and smithing levels could continue to increase. He could aim to become a true celestial master. While Knight Sorrow was pondering, Northstar arrived. Behind her was Greed King. I'm a little presumptuous. My junior sister went to get some food and wine. I was interested, so I asked a few questions. My junior sister then told me about your situation. I felt that I had to come and congratulate you. Greed King, who was still dressed sloppily, cupped his hands towards Knight Sorrow. Brother Greed, you are too polite. We are not outsiders. It was my fault for not informing you. The main reason is that I didn't want to be flamboyant. There are too many things happening now, Knight Sorrow said apologetically. According to your situation, keeping a low profile is the right thing to do. There is nothing to be apologetic about. Just drink a few more cups later, Greed King said with a smile. Then I will drink with Brother Greed. Knight Sorrow nodded. He admired Greed. He admired Greed's carefree attitude that no one else had. He lived his own life and let others laugh and scold him. After having a good drink with Yi Shang, the greedy wolf monarch left. Knight Sorrow, I am relieved that you have become a king. If this news doesn't spread, those sovereigns will only send out beginner kings. They won't be able to threaten you at all, Northstar said. Yes, it will be stable for a while. Knight Sorrow nodded with a smile. When your main body comes out of the Will of the World cave and safely returns to the 9-domain world, you can announce that you are the 9-domain world's realm master. A realm master is immortal in his own world. I don't think anyone will dare to target you. Just thinking about their ugly faces makes me happy, Northstar said after taking a big gulp of wine. I still need some time. I won't leave the Will of the World cave early. 100 years is only a short period of time, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Chapter 1090. Did you bring any resources? If your energy cultivation couldn't keep up, it would affect your battle prowess. Beixing asked. I have enough resources to reach the intermediate king level, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Beixing laughed so hard that his body swayed back and forth. No one knows your current cultivation. When the time comes, you'll be an intermediate king and they'll be beginner king. How interesting. Knight Sorrow also laughed. Energy cultivation was a part of battle prowess. When his will of space reached the king level, his actual battle prowess would increase even more. An ordinary beginner king would only be killed. Knight Sorrow still had some regrets in his heart. He didn't have anywhere to comprehend the supreme will of nothingness. The 9-domain world was a high-level world, and it also broke the shackles of not being able to produce a king. However, the supreme will of nothingness could only be found in a supreme world. There was still a long way to go before the 9-domain world could reach a supreme world. In other words, if Knight Sorrow wanted to grasp the will of nothingness in advance, he would have to enter a supreme world. There's hope for my king artifact. Beixing looked at Knight Sorrow and said. Becoming a heavenly alchemist and weapon refiner required talent and experience. It was impossible to do so without the accumulation of materials. Yi Shan had the talent and experience in refining. In the past, he could not refine Sovereign King pills and weapons because he was stuck in his cultivation and realm. Now that he was a Sovereign King, with his cultivation, refining Sovereign King weapons and Sovereign King pills would not be a problem. It will still take a while. Bring me the materials from the Celestial Master Pavilion. I'll return to Seven Night City to cultivate alchemy and blacksmithing. Knight Sorrow was also looking forward to the improvement of his alchemy and blacksmithing skills. Okay, find me if you need any materials. There's nothing in Big Dipper City that I can't get. Beixing was also very excited. After chatting with Northstar for a while, Knight Sorrow teleported back to Seven Night City. Northstar returned to the Big Dipper Manor. Inside the manor, Big Dipper King and Greedy Wolf King were drinking wine. Greedy Wolf King did not drink tea. He did not have the habit of drinking tea. Third senior brother, have you told my father? Beixing asked after sitting down. No. I'm not a blabbermouth. I'll leave the matter to you. Tanlang King said with a smile. In his eyes, his master's daughter was his little sister, and he had to spoil her. What didn't you tell father? Big Dipper King asked with a smile. Last chapter square root previous chapter square root, Knight Sorrow has entered the king's realm. The will of time is the king. I'm afraid not many people know about this, North Star said. The will of time king. The first king of our 9 heavens realm with high-level will. Amazing. The rise of the 9 regions world will be unstoppable. Big Dipper King stood up and said. Master, he directly broke through from the half-step king to the 2-star king. He's really talented, Tan Lang King added. The Northern Dipper Sovereign's body trembled for a moment. Only Sovereign Boundless has managed to cross realms in a single moment of enlightenment. I reckon that if it wasn't for the huge gap in his energy and realm resulting in the impact, his enlightenment would have continued. Yes, it's terrifying. When I was next to him, I felt a great pressure. When his cultivation level increases, a low-level king will be killed in front of him. Tan Lang King told his master what he felt when he saw Night Sorrow. Big Dipper King nodded. He knew how terrifying high-level will and high-level attributes were. Master, his current problem might be his low birth. This will limit his rapid development, Tan Lang King said. Yes. If he was born in a great world or a powerful force, he would use natural treasures to increase his cultivation level. At the same time, he could continue to comprehend. If his cultivation level can't keep up, it will delay his comprehension, Big Dipper King nodded. The level of a cultivator was divided into energy cultivation level and realm. The energy contained in the body couldn't exceed the realm level. If the energy cultivation level didn't match the realm level, it would also affect the improvement of the realm level. Do you think Night Sorrow is stupid? He said he went in with cultivation resources. He also said he had no problem reaching the mid-level king level, North Star said with a smile. Since he told you all this, it seems he really does treat you as a close friend. Since that's the case, tell Yi Shan when he wants to leave 9 Heavens Pagoda. I'm willing to go pick him up. Big Dipper Sovereign made a decision. Big Dipper King's decision seemed simple, but it wasn't. There were many implications. There were many kings waiting for Night Sorrow. Moreover, they were all subordinates of the monarchs. If he went to pick up Night Sorrow, it would be the same as going against the other monarchs. Although Big Dipper King was a king under Black Heaven Monarch and didn't need to care about the other monarchs, offending him wasn't a small matter. Master, I'll go. No one knows Night Sorrow's level. If I go pick him up, it won't be a problem for the 2 of us to deal with the other low-level kings, Greedy Wolf King said. He didn't want Big Dipper King to have too much karma involved. Night Sorrow is a righteous person. It's important to help when one is in need. Forming good karma will only benefit me. This is also the biggest hurdle in his life. We can't fail. I'll go. It's decided. Big Dipper King shook his head. Father, Night Sorrow said that when he reaches the Heavenly Master rank, he will help me refine a king artifact, North Star said with a smile. That's righteousness. Big Dipper King nodded. He had high hopes for Night Sorrow. He was neither delicate nor humble. He was himself. This was the Night Sorrow in his eyes. Inside the 7 Rain Palace, the 7 Rain Sovereign was fiddling with a small blue pagoda. At this moment, Ao Luyun entered the palace and handed the jade bottle to the 7 Rain Sovereign. Then she stood to the side. Inform your big senior sister to come over, the 7 Rain Sovereign said to Ao Luyun after sitting quietly for a while. Ao Luyun nodded and went to handle the matter. Her big senior sister was a high-level king. Her title was Floating King. Her ultimate floating sword technique was famous in the 9 firmament world. After 15 minutes, a woman in white with red plum blossoms entered the palace with Ao Luyun. Then the 2 of them greeted the 7 Rain Sovereign. Floating, go to the Black Celestial Realm to protect someone. It's not convenient for you to enter the Celestial Realm. Visit the Black Heaven Sovereign and Big Dipper King as an excuse. Actually, you should pay them a visit. The person protecting you is called Night Sorrow. He will protect you secretly. If anyone above the mid-level king makes a move on him, he will be killed immediately. It doesn't matter who it is or what power it is. I, as your master, will bear the consequences, the 7 Rain Sovereign said. Yes. Floating King, who was wearing a white dress embroidered with plum blossoms, bowed. Luyun, give the 7 Rain Array Disc, God Sealing Pagoda and this soul crystal to Night Sorrow. The 7 Rain Sovereign waved her arm and handed a few items to Ao Luyun. Master, you cannot leave the God Sealing Pagoda. I will take care of it. After hearing the 7 Rain Sovereign's words, Floating King's expression changed. Chapter 1091. There are some things that you don't understand. Others have done what they should do, so as master, I must do what I should do. When people treat us with sincerity, we must also treat them with sincerity. Master owes them. Besides, without the God-sealing pagoda who can threaten Master's safety. Master has gained some insights over the years. Whoever wants to test Master's strength will have to leave something behind. The Seven Rain Monarch's tone was very calm at the start. But towards the end there was a trace of coldness. Monarchs were overlords at the level of king. Although they weren't world overlords and couldn't rule their own world, their prestige couldn't be violated. Whoever dared to disobey would die. This had nothing to do with whether the monarch was a man or a woman. The Seven Rain Monarch usually looked very gentle, but his domineering aura was also ingrained in his bones. Without a certain temperament, he wouldn't be able to become a monarch. Master, disciple feels that disciple can resolve this matter. There is no need for Master to take out a protective treasure. The Drifting Rain Monarch said. There are some things you don't understand. Originally, I didn't want to explain it to you. But now there's no harm in telling you. Night Sorrow gave me 3 drops of soul cultivation liquid. He has some difficulties that he needs to solve. One must be careful when doing things. He gave me some opportunities. Therefore, Master has to give something in return. The Seven Rain Monarch said after pondering for a moment. Soul cultivation liquid. He gave Master the soul cultivation liquid in return for Master helping him solve some problems. This is just a deal. Disciple will kill whoever he wants. The Drifting King bowed. She didn't want the Seven Rain Monarch to leave her side. Think about it. He has the soul cultivation liquid. Any monarch can solve his problem. He just wants an array disc that can control a high-level king. Why can't he find Mysterious Heaven Monarch? Why can't he find No Beginning Monarch? He knows that the disciple of No Beginning Monarch used the No Beginning array disc before, so he has a good relationship with the disciple of No Beginning Monarch. The reason why he came to find me is because I have a good relationship with him in the past. He wants to give this opportunity to me, so this is not a trade. It is a mutual help between friends. The Seven Rains Monarch explained the reason for his decision to his 2 disciples. Disciple understands. Floating King nodded his head. There were some things that he didn't know, so he misunderstood. Now that he knew the details, he naturally understood the reason behind it. Eldest senior sister, don't look down on him. That fellow is a freak. He's over 100 years old, and he's already a 2-star king. Not only that, but he's also a time king with a high-level will. Ao Luyun said with a smile. She knew what kind of person her eldest senior sister was. She wouldn't give anyone a good face easily. She was very arrogant. Advanced king? Floating King glanced at Ao Luyun before turning to look at the Seven Rain Monarch. Indeed, he's a king with 2 stars. I don't want to discourage you, so I'll tell you more. Back in the days, during the first Saints meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds, he was a half-king with space intent. At that time his time intent was 90%. In other words, sooner or later he'll be a king with space intent. A king with 2 stars intent is unprecedented in the history of the continent of the 9 clouds. People who offend him will regret it, said the Seven Rains King. The Seven Rains Monarch's words shocked Floating King and Flowing Cloud King. There will always be talents in every generation. Just because we can't do it doesn't mean that others can't. Alright, you guys can go. The Seven Rain Monarch waved at her 2 disciples before disappearing from the Seven Rain main hall. In the past she could not increase her strength. Now that she had the soul cultivation liquid, she had a chance. The only genuine ZF. Heal Zine is the pirated version. Night Sorrow, who was staying in Seven Night City, would refine Dawn every day. Once he reached a certain realm, his alchemy cultivation could be improved. He wanted to become a heavenly master alchemist so that he could refine Profound Spirit Dan and 9 Transformation Dan. Both of these were top-quality Dawn. They could also be said to be the King of Dawn. King-level Dawn were also known as King Dan. After refining many batches of Spirit Comprehension Dan to increase his proficiency, Night Sorrow pondered for a moment before taking out the Spirit Root Grass. After organizing his thoughts, he began to refine. The refining process of the Profound Spirit Dan was very complicated. If one's realm and soul power could not keep up, they would not be able to refine it. Fortunately, Night Sorrow had the 9 region origin beads in his Spirit Sea. His soul power was already at King's level, so he dared to start. 6 days later, Night Sorrow's first batch of Profound Spirit Dan failed. There was a slight mistake when he was condensing the Dan. The failure was within Night Sorrow's expectations. It was not easy to refine King-level Dawn. After drinking a cup of heart-cleansing tea and studying the reason for the failure, Night Sorrow opened the furnace and continued refining. This time Night Sorrow was much smoother. After all, he had already experienced failure once. A few days later, it was time to condense the dawn. This time, Night Sorrow was especially careful. It took him 3 days to condense the dawn. When the dawn took shape, Night Sorrow felt at ease. The king-level profound spirit Dan was just around the corner. It would not be a problem to nourish it for a while. At this moment, black clouds appeared in the sky. Tribulation clouds. After looking up, Night Sorrow understood that this was the dawn tribulation clouds. Dawn were the same as cultivators. When heaven-defying dawn were born, there would be a lightning tribulation. Only by passing the test would one truly exist in the world. If one could not pass the test, they would turn into ashes. When Night Sorrow opened the furnace, more than a dozen white dawn flew into the air. At this time, the lightning tribulation clouds also moved. With a loud explosion, more than a dozen lightning bolts appeared and directly struck the rotating dawn. The dawn could not be dodged, so Night Sorrow could not do anything. He could only watch. Under the bombardment of the purple lightning bolts, the dawn spun in the air and did not shatter. A quarter of an hour later, a purple halo and veins appeared on the surface of the pill. The veins were circulating on the pill. Night Sorrow knew that those were lightning patterns which were also dawn. Only the king-level dawn had such patterns. It was the sign of a top-grade dawn. With a wave of his right hand, energy wrapped around the dawn and Night Sorrow put them into the jade bottle. At this time, Sikong Chuyu and the others who were watching from the side came to Night Sorrow's side. 13. What's the situation with the lightning? Yang Lei asked. Dawn tribulation. When the heaven-defying king-level dawn are born, there will be such a tribulation. The dawn I refined just now were such dawn. Fortunately, we survived. Come. Everyone take one. This is a dawn that can improve cultivation aptitude. Night Sorrow pointed to the jade bottle on the table in front of him and said, Then we won't stand on ceremony. Sikong Chu smiled and took one. Yang Lei, Aoi, Shueshi and Zhu Juyun also took one. Everyone was on the same side, so there was no need to stand on ceremony with Night Sorrow. Sixth senior sister, take these 3 dawn and give them to my parents and Father Gu. I will refine the dawn for the others. I still have some materials. Night Sorrow once again gave 3 bottles of Yun spirit pills to Aoi. Then he kept the remaining bottles. Okay, I will go to the 9-domain world later to give the dawn to my parents. Aoi nodded. At this time, Night Sorrow raised his head. He felt his soul crystal shatter and understood that the 7 Rain Monarch's side had a result. Chapter 1092. Night Sorrow looked at the girls and said, The spirit accumulation pill needs to be consumed by the main body. Don't waste it. Where are you going? Sikong Chuyu asked. Forever and ever exempt from paying a fee, I have been trying to find a way to deal with the threat of the evil spirit king. I might have a result now. Night Sorrow said. Then you have to be careful. Shueshi said. She knew how dangerous the heaven mystic world was now. Yishang nodded and took the teleportation array to Bei Xing's residence. You're back. Are you going to the Heavenly Master Pavilion? Bei Xing asked. Not going. I still have some things to deal with. Alright, I have a gift for you. I'll come back later to drink with you. Night Sorrow took out a jade bottle and handed it to Bei Xing. Then he walked towards the inn where he was meeting with Ao Luyun. When he arrived at the inn, Night Sorrow stopped. He had checked on Ao Luyun and King Piao. Since he couldn't detect King Piao's cultivation, Night Sorrow wondered if she was a threat. At this moment, Ao Luyun and Piao Sovereign appeared. Night Sorrow, come in and tell me that this is my senior sister, King Piao. She's not an outsider. Ao Luyun said. After finding out that the girl whose cultivation he couldn't see through was the disciple of the 7 Rain Sovereign, Night Sorrow entered the inn. After entering Ao Luyun's room, Piao casually set up an enchantment. Night Sorrow, my master asked me to pass these things to you. This is a soul crystal. This is my master's protective magic treasure. Once you activate the soul crystal, my master's soul clone will use her protective magic treasure to help you. Also, this is the 7 Rain Array disc. Take it. Ao Luyun passed the things that the 7 Rain Sovereign asked her to pass to Night Sorrow. You can't leave Lord Monarch's protective treasure with me. Give it back to Lord Monarch. With the formation plate, even if I can't hold on, Lord Monarch can think of a way to save me. Night Sorrow returned the soul caging tower to Ao Luyun. Night Sorrow, who is the high-level king you're after? Tell me his name. If it's possible, I'll kill him, Floating Sovereign said. You're all disciples of the 7 Rain Monarch, so I don't mind telling you about my troubles. The 9 regions world has to go through a tribulation to become a high-level world, and the strongest of these tribulations is king, whose cultivation level is unknown. Others can't directly kill him. Only those from the 9 regions world who kill him will pass the tribulation. What I'm doing now is a backup plan. I'm afraid that he'll break into the 9 regions world ahead of time. Night Sorrow looked at Floating King and explained the situation. So that's how it is. We really can't replace you on this. However, there are some things that I would like to say, Floating King said after some thought. Just say it. Night Sorrow nodded. I am my master's first disciple, Drifting. My master treats you as a friend, so you two are friends as well. The God-sealing pagoda is very important to my master. If other sovereigns find out that my master's defensive supreme treasure is not with him, they might have some bad ideas. We will take the God-sealing pagoda back. If you are in danger, you can crush my soul crystal. I will bring my master's defensive supreme treasure and rush over to help you trap the enemy. That way, my master won't be in any danger when the God-sealing pagoda is not with him, Drifting Sovereign said. Alright, that's a good idea. You guys can take the soul caging tower back. Night Sorrow nodded. The appearance of the soul caging tower made Night Sorrow feel the sincerity of the 7 Rain Monarch. He didn't want the 7 Rain Monarch to be in danger because of him. Floating King took out a soul crystal and handed it to Night Sorrow. Crush it if you're in trouble. I Floating owe you a favor. Actually, it's nothing. You don't owe me a favor. This matter involves the 9 domain world. Otherwise, there are some things that I wouldn't want to do, Night Sorrow said. I understand. Take the soul crystal. If that king threatens the 9 domain world, just crush it. I'll report to Master immediately and help you resolve this crisis. Floating King stuffed the soul crystal into Night Sorrow's hand. Holding the soul crystal, Night Sorrow left the inn. Master didn't misjudge him. This Night Sorrow is quite a character, Floating said to Ao Luyun as she watched Night Sorrow's departing figure. Big senior sister, will Master be angry if we do this? Ao Luyun was a little uncertain. Maybe. However, Master's safety is more important than the heavens, Floating King said. After chatting for a while, Ao Luyun left Big Dipper City with the God-sealing pagoda and returned to the 7 Rain Realm. Floating King still had matters to attend to. She wanted to see Big Dipper King. She had visited Mysterious Heaven Monarch before she came. Mysterious Heaven King's main body was in seclusion. When she saw Mysterious Heaven King's clone, she greeted him as a junior and promised not to cause trouble in the Mysterious Celestial Realm. She also wanted to walk around the Mysterious Celestial Realm. Mysterious Heaven Monarch's intentions were clear. He and the 7 Rain Monarch were good friends. Floating King could walk around the Mysterious Celestial Realm, but she definitely couldn't threaten Night Sorrow's safety. If this was violated, he wouldn't give anyone face. Under such circumstances, Princess Piao naturally understood what her master, the 7 Rain Monarch, meant. Night Sorrow had given her an opportunity. Since Mysterious Heaven Monarch valued her so highly, Night Sorrow didn't need to look for the 7 Rain Monarch. Instead, he could look for Mysterious Heaven Monarch. When she arrived at Big Dipper Manor, Floating King greeted her politely. Big Dipper King received her, but his attitude was cold. This was because he knew that the king who came to Big Dipper City was related to the investigation of Night Sorrow. Brother Big Dipper, I plan to stay in Big Dipper City for a while, Floating King stated her intentions. No. I would welcome you if you came to Big Dipper City at another time. However, this is not the right time. There are some things that we have a tacit understanding of, Big Dipper King said. Big Dipper King wouldn't allow a high-level king to appear in Big Dipper City. This was equivalent to breaking the balance and causing trouble in his own territory. It was a slap to his face. I don't quite understand what Brother Big Dipper is saying, Floating King said. She was very unhappy that Big Dipper King wasn't giving her any face. Then I'll put it bluntly. The 7 Rain Monarchs need the soul-cultivating fluid, and so do the other monarchs. I can turn a blind eye to a basic king coming to Big Dipper City to look for someone and kill someone. However, if a high-level king comes, I won't be able to stay in Big Dipper City. Floating, if you were me, you would do the same, Big Dipper King said. I see. In that case, Brother Big Dipper has misunderstood. I promise that I won't harm Night Sorrow, nor will I have any designs on the soul-cultivating fluid. On the other hand, if an intermediate king or above tries to deal with Night Sorrow, I won't just sit by and watch, Floating King promised. Are you serious? Big Dipper King looked at Floating King. He couldn't understand what was going on. 9 cauldrons in one glance. I won't make things difficult for Brother Big Dipper, nor will I embarrass Brother Big Dipper. I've also made a promise to Lord Mysterious Heaven. Floating Monarch nodded. If that's the case, then there's no problem. Floating King, you can stay in Big Dipper City for as long as you want. When you have time, you can even come to Big Dipper Manor for some tea. Although Big Dipper King couldn't understand, he believed in Floating's promise. Chapter 1093. Thank you, Brother Big Dipper. Floating Palace welcomes Brother Big Dipper as a guest at any time. Floating King cupped his hands towards Big Dipper King. Floating was the eldest disciple of the Seven Rain Sovereign. After her cultivation was successful, she went to conquer the world. In another world without a sovereign, which was her birthplace, she established Floating Palace and was also an overlord. All right. Big Dipper King cupped his hands towards Floating King. I asked Big Dipper King to keep the matter of me coming to the Sky Profound World a secret. I don't want to cause a commotion. Floating King got up and was about to leave. All right. Big Dipper King nodded. As long as Floating King did not mess around, he was willing to help. King's favor was hard to come by. After Floating King left, Greedy Wolf King entered the Big Dipper Manor's living room. Master, why did Xie Piao come to our Big Dipper City? Greedy Wolf King asked. Floating King, Xie Piao was a title that was used in name. It's probably for Night Sorrow. In terms of foresight, the Seven Rain Sovereign is very sinister. Back then, in order to recruit Xie Piao, she had a bad relationship with the Sky Scorpion King of the Sky Scorpion world. It's normal for her to favor Night Sorrow now. Big Dipper King said. Xie Piao was born in a world between the Sky Scorpion world and the Seven Rain world. After Xie Piao was born, she stood out. The Seven Rain Sovereign thought highly of her and used a free-range strategy. Due to Floating King's good talent, her growth was very dazzling. After the Sky Scorpion Sovereign discovered Xie Piao, he wanted to recruit her, but he was repelled by the Seven Rain Sovereign. Only our original edition, the others were all stolen Z edition. So this is an investment. The Seven Rain Sovereign is really good. Greedy Wolf King said. He felt that the Seven Rain Sovereign was good at scheming and he did not like her. You can't say that. The Seven Rain Monarch takes in disciples and nurtures them seriously. Among the monarchs, she has the most disciples of the king. Everything she does is for the stability of her own forces. She can't be considered selfish. In terms of character, the Seven Rain Monarch is still ranked at the top of the Nine Firmament World Group. She is also one of the most trustworthy people. The Big Dipper King said. Master, I understand now. It seems like she really thinks highly of Night Sorrow. It is normal for King to think highly of Night Sorrow. However, it will be very difficult to recruit Night Sorrow as a subordinate. Who can give guidance to a king with high attribute willpower? Greedy Wolf King said with a smile. That's right. Everyone wants to recruit a talent like Night Sorrow. However, it is very difficult to do so. It is already good enough to form a good relationship with him. The Seven Rain Monarch might have already done this. That Flowing Cloud King was arranged by her in advance. Now she has made another heavy move. The Big Dipper King shook his head. He thought highly of Night Sorrow and wanted to support Night Sorrow's development in the Big Dipper City. However, he knew that it was very difficult to keep someone like Night Sorrow. At this time, Bei Xing returned to the Big Dipper Villa. Her face was beaming with joy and she was very excited. What happened? Why are you so happy? The Greedy Wolf King said with a smile. Third senior brother, I obtained a treasure this time. Bei Xing shook the bottle in her hand at the Greedy Wolf King. Xing, what treasure made you so happy? The Big Dipper King asked as he reached out to touch the back of his daughter's head. King Pill. The best of the King Pills. Bei Xing handed the jade bottle in her hand to her father. Holding the jade bottle, the Big Dipper King opened it. The moment the jade bottle opened, the spirit accumulation pill floated out of the bottle and spun in the air. The purple lines on the pill moved as if they were alive. The Big Dipper King waved his arm. Energy wrapped around the pill and sent it back into the jade bottle. After a long time, the pill's spirituality would dissipate. Master, this is the Lightning Rune King pill? The Greedy Wolf King's face was full of surprise. Yes, it's freshly made. Needless to say, it's Night Sorrow's work. The Lightning Rune Spirit Accumulation Pill is a treasure. The Big Dipper King nodded. A king with advanced will. A heavenly master alchemist who can refine the Lightning Rune King pill. This is going to turn the world upside down. The Greedy Wolf King's eyes were full of shock. He also said that he would refine a king artifact for me later. I believe he can do it too. Bei Xing took the jade bottle that the Big Dipper King handed back to her. The Spirit Accumulation Pill can improve a cultivator's aptitude. This is only recorded in the ancient records. It appeared once many years ago. It was hyped up and sold for a sky-high price. Moon Monarch bought it. This is the Lightning Rune Spirit Accumulation Pill. Its value is even more frightening. Night Sorrow is really good to you, the Big Dipper King said. So powerful. I just thought that the Lightning Rune King pill was very rare and wanted to keep it. I didn't expect it to be like this. It's not appropriate for me to accept it, Bei Xing said. Under the Big Dipper King's education, she didn't like to take advantage of others. Actually, it's not that. He felt that you needed it, so he gave it to you. He didn't consider its value. This is how friends are. There's no need to measure value and benefits. The Big Dipper King shook his head. Bei Xing nodded. She recalled the scene when Night Sorrow gave her the pill. There was no reluctance or heartache on her face. As a friend, you have to remind him that the Lightning Rune Spirit Accumulation Pill is the same as the Soul Cultivation Liquid. It's something that can cause a storm in the city. Once it's exposed, a large number of kings will come. They'll have all kinds of reasons. Even the mysterious Heaven Monarch can't stop them all. At that time, I won't be able to drive them away even if I want to, the Big Dipper King said with a bitter smile. Bei Xing nodded. She understood the importance of the Spirit Accumulation Pill. After returning to Seven Night City, Night Sorrow began to refine pills again. After walking around the Celestial Master Pavilion, Bei Xing returned to the Big Dipper Villa and gave the pill to her father. Father, I asked for another pill from Night Sorrow. Take this one. I'll continue to visit Night Sorrow. Bei Xing said and left. After listening to her father's explanation, Bei Xing knew that the senior king also needed the Spirit Accumulation Pill. She understood that her father also needed it, although he didn't say it out loud. She also knew that her father wouldn't accept it if she gave it to him directly, so she walked around the Celestial Master Pavilion. Holding the pill bottle, the Big Dipper King smiled and shook his head. He knew his daughter very well. After knowing the value of the Spirit Accumulation Pill, Bei Xing wouldn't ask Night Sorrow again. This Spirit Accumulation Pill was the one just now. But how could he snatch his daughter's opportunity? In your father's heart, you're a treasure. More precious than anything, the Big Dipper King murmured in a low voice. Bei Xing rushed to Seven Night City and found Night Sorrow. She told him the importance of the Spirit Accumulation Pill and told Night Sorrow not to accept it. Why aren't you eating pills to cultivate? Why are you running around? Night Sorrow glanced at Bei Xing. I've eaten. Bei Xing said with a smile. Turning his head to look at Bei Xing, Night Sorrow turned back and continued to refine pills. I'll tell you later. You've learned how to lie. A few days later, Night Sorrow refined another batch of Spirit Accumulation Pills, but there were no more pill veins. After all, it was the second batch in a short time, so it lacked some heaven and earth resonance. After receiving the pills, Night Sorrow looked at Bei Xing and said, "You can't even deceive people." Chapter 1094. Bei Xing lowered her head and said, "I'm not lying." Night Sorrow looked at Bei Xing and said, "It will take at least a month to absorb the essence of the pill. Your body will also have a special aura. You didn't eat it at all. If you didn't eat it, then why did you say you ate it? Are you lying to me?" Bei Xing looked up at Night Sorrow apologetically and said, "Sorry, someone needs it more than me. For my father, it's okay for me to lose some opportunities." She didn't regret her decision. You don't need to apologize. If you have something to say, just tell me. It's nothing. Everyone has someone they value and need to protect. I'll give you another one. If you dare to give it to someone else, I'll fall out with you. Yishang handed Bei Xing one of the Yun Spirit pills on the table. The people around you need it. I don't need it. I believe in myself. Even without it, I can still achieve something. Bei Xing said. Just take it. It's hard to find a friend in life. Resources are secondary. Night Sorrow stuffed the pill bottle into Bei Xing's hand. Night Sorrow, I'm sorry about this. Bei Xing was a bit embarrassed. This isn't like you. Plus, Big Dipper King protected me. It's only right for him to give me a pill. Night Sorrow shook his head. Bei Xing nodded. She understood Night Sorrow a bit better. He didn't want to owe anyone and knew how to repay kindness. Later, bring Qian Xiangwei and Qian Yu to your residence. I'll give each of them one as well, but I need to tell them a few things. Don't cause any trouble for me, Yishan said to Bei Xing after thinking for a moment. Bei Xing nodded and left Seven Night City. She also knew that the Xiantian dynasty's Qian Ziwei siblings were Night Sorrow's friends. After refining a few more furnaces of Yun Spirit pills, Yishang returned to the city in the sky with his women and gave more than 20 yun spirit pills to Wu Lingfei. Auntie Fei, this is a king-level spirit accumulation pill. It can increase a cultivator's aptitude. Give it to the people in the 9-domain world who need it. I'll give it to my parents and wife, Night Sorrow said to Wu Lingfei. What about Nianxiao, Ningyun and Chiwei? Wu Lingfei took the pills and asked. I'll arrange it. Send it to 6th senior sister from the Medicine Valley. 10 pills are for my 10 senior brothers. Night Sorrow nodded to Wu Lingfei and gave Aoi another batch of yin spirit pills. Aoi nodded. She was very happy that Night Sorrow did this because she also hoped that her senior brother and junior brother would be successful. Night Sorrow, you still need some backup. When you have children in the future, you will need them too. Wu Lingfei reminded Night Sorrow that king-grade pills were very hard to come by. Without the necessary materials, even a heavenly master-grade alchemist would find it difficult to cook without rice. I have backup. Night Sorrow nodded. Bei Xing returned to his courtyard and was surprised to see his father there. Father, I have to go to the Shantian dynasty. Bei Xing wanted to leave. Stop right there. Go back to the Big Dipper Manor first. We'll go to the Shantian dynasty later. Big Dipper King waved his arm and brought Bei Xing back to the Big Dipper Manor. Don't lie to me in the future. If I use this pill, how can I face your mother in the underworld? I know you want my best, but you have to think about me. If I eat this pill, how can I face you in the future? Big Dipper King placed the bottle of Yun spirit pills on the table in front of Bei Xing genuine pill. Father, I know I was wrong. I won't do it again. Bei Xing said with tears in his eyes. You didn't do anything wrong, but you have to know that you are more important than the heavens in my heart. Big Dipper King looked at Bei Xing with love in his eyes. Father, this is the first time you've scolded me. Bei Xing lay in Big Dipper King's arms and couldn't stop his tears from flowing. Enough. Don't cry. I won't scold you in the future. Big Dipper King patted Bei Xing's back. The word mother was a very weak word for Bei Xing. Her mother was an ordinary person, perhaps even worse than an ordinary person. The North Star Sovereign had tried a lot, but due to a congenital deficiency, her body could not be nourished. Many heavenly treasures could not be used. After giving birth to Bei Xing, her mother had passed away in the most brilliant years of her life. Big Dipper King didn't use any servants and raised Bei Xing with his own hands. Bei Xing was his everything. Only by being extremely emotional could he reach the peak of Tao. That was why he had achieved what others didn't. Bei Xing wiped his tears and said, Father, when I went to see Night Sorrow, she asked me why I didn't take the pill to cultivate. I said I took it. In the end, she scolded me and said I shouldn't have lied to her. Then she gave me another pill. Fine. Seeing that he was sincerely looking out for you, I won't scold you. Big Dipper King said with a smile. Both of us have Yun spirit pills so we don't have to feel pressured or guilty. Bei Xing said with a smile. Let me see your Yun spirit pill. Don't lie to me again. Big Dipper King said. Bei Xing nodded and took out the Yun spirit pill that Night Sorrow gave her. Big Dipper King opened the pill bottle and nodded. Among the top-grade pills refined at the same time, only the first batch has a resonance with heaven and earth and a lightning tribulation. The later ones are a bit worse. Give this one to me. You take this one. Big Dipper King switched the pills and gave the Yun spirit pill with lightning runes to Bei Xing. Bei Xing didn't refuse. She knew her father wouldn't agree. Right now we owe them a favor, but we also obtained opportunities that others don't have. Big Dipper King sighed. Father, the rise of the 9-domain world is unstoppable. We can form an alliance in the future. Giving them some protection and help is good for both sides. Bei Xing said. You can do as you see fit. Father will support whatever you do even if it's wrong. Big Dipper King nodded. Just as the two of them were talking, Big Dipper King stood up with a solemn expression and walked out of the Big Dipper Manor's hall. At this moment, two people walked in side by side. It was Purple Firmament Sovereign and Black Heaven Sovereign. Big Dipper greets the two sovereigns. Big Dipper bowed and Bei Xing followed suit. No need for formalities. Let's go in and talk. Purple Firmament Sovereign nodded and took the lead to enter the hall. Big Dipper, the Purple Firmament Sovereign, has come to the mysterious heaven world because he has something to announce. The daughter of the Azure Emperor from the reincarnation Great World, Princess Qing Wan, is coming to the mysterious heaven world, the Black Heaven Sovereign said. The daughter of Overlord Qing Emperor of a supreme world is coming to our mysterious sky world? What's going on? Big Dipper King's eyes were filled with confusion. In the supreme world, there is another type of person who is equivalent to an array master. They are called diviners. They can predict and sense things that will happen in the past and the future. They must have sensed something. The core of many things that have happened in the mysterious sky world recently is night sorrow. Purple Firmament Sovereign said. The target is night sorrow. What can we do? Big Dipper King knew that the situation was serious. Chapter 1095. It is very serious. Night Sorrow is an outstanding young man in our 9 firmament world. We must protect him. As for whether he will achieve anything in the future, that is his business. We, the older generation, will not feel guilty. Sovereign Zishao said. Night Sorrow will definitely achieve something. Beixing said. Sorry, my daughter is not sensible. However, Night Sorrow will really achieve something. Xing the 2 sovereigns will not hurt him. Night Sorrow, tell the 2 sovereigns about Night Sorrow's recent situation. Big Dipper King said to Beixing. After all, he did not see Night Sorrow's situation. It was all Beixing's retelling. Beixing told Sovereign Zishao and Sovereign Shen Tian about Night Sorrow entering King's realm and becoming a sky alchemist. We must protect him. Why are some forces in the supreme world so strong? It is because they rob talents. Their purpose is to follow me and prosper. If Night Sorrow does not surrender, he will be obliterated in advance. Sovereign Zizhao's face was filled with shock and worry. It is not that easy to obliterate Night Sorrow. There are some things that my father does not know. Night Sorrow is not only a high-level attribute cultivator, he is also the realm lord of the 9-domain world. As long as his original body returns to the 9-domain world smoothly from 9 Firmament Tower, he is not someone who can be killed. Beixing said. As a friend of Night Sorrow, she was proud of Night Sorrow. What should we do? Let Night Sorrow leave 9 Firmament Tower in advance? Sovereign Shen Tian looked at Sovereign Zishao and asked. We can only do this. This is the safest way. If talents are robbed, our 9 Firmament World group will never have a day of success. Sovereign Zishao nodded. They did not want Night Sorrow to have any problems. But Night Sorrow may not agree. The cultivation of the will of heaven and earth is too important for him. He will not be willing to waste 90 years. Beixing hesitated and said. Indeed. This kid is indeed stubborn. He might not compromise. The Big Dipper Residence's king nodded. Give him time. Remember, I'm willing to talk to 9 Heavens Tower for his sake. His real body must return to 9 Regions world. My brother is in seclusion. No one can resist the pressure of Samsara world, Sovereign Zishao said. Then I will go meet him and explain the situation to him. Also, there may be other king's subordinates waiting for him outside 9 Heavens Tower, Beixing said after a moment's thought. Don't worry, I'll bring him back to the 9 Regions world. As long as his true body returns to the 9 Regions world, who can do anything to him? But I'm a little puzzled. Night Sorrow's original body broke through in the 9 Heavens Tower. He didn't experience any thunder tribulations. How could a fortune teller sense it? The Purple Firmament Sovereign was still puzzled. It's probably because of the elixir vein spirit accumulation pill that he refined. The Big Dipper King thought for a moment and said that Night Sorrow had refined a king's elixir that experienced thunder tribulations. That's right. It should be caused by the elixir. Beixing, to respect him, you should talk to him. If he agrees with our strategy and is willing to end his cultivation early, then we will arrange the following matters. If he wants to bear it, then we can only think of other ways. Who knows what will happen when Princess Qingwan arrives? Sovereign Zishao said. When Beixing arrived at 7 Night City, he didn't see Night Sorrow. Then he went to the City Lord's mansion to see Taishu Yen and said that he had an urgent matter to see Night Sorrow. Taishu Yen, who knew Beixing, immediately went to the city in the sky to see Night Sorrow and told him about Beixing's arrival. Night Sorrow knew that Beixing was looking for him for something. So he brought his 3 wives and Xueshi to 7 Night City. At 7 Nights Lake they saw Beixing. What's the urgent matter? Night Sorrow sat down and asked. It's quite urgent. I'll tell you the specific situation and then you can make your own decision. Beixing looked at Night Sorrow and then told him the news that Sovereign Zishao and Sovereign Shen Tian brought. Night Sorrow closed his eyes and thought about whether to end his cultivation early and listen to Sovereign Zishao and Sovereign Shen Tian's arrangement or continue to bear it. If he ended his cultivation now, the disadvantage was that if the space will didn't enter the king realm, then he would still need to cultivate and the impact would be great. However, if he didn't end his cultivation, the danger would be great. If the situation wasn't serious, Sovereign Zishao and Sovereign Shen Tian wouldn't have come together and paid so much attention to it. Although it's very difficult, I can't disappoint Sovereign Zishao and Sovereign Shen Tian's good intentions. Let's end it early. Fortunately, there are still places to comprehend the space will. After hesitating, Knight Sorrow made a decision. He couldn't disappoint Sovereign Zishao and Sovereign Shen Tian's good intentions. Otherwise, they would think that he didn't know what was good for him. It's safer this way. There are many opportunities to improve your strength. Your own safety is the most important. Bei Xing also supported Knight Sorrow's decision. Then, Bei Xing left to inform Sovereign Zishao and Sovereign Shen Tian. After all, Sovereign Zishao still had to send Knight Sorrow back. Although he was conflicted, Knight Sorrow didn't hesitate. His doppelganger's soul tremor woke his original body up. PJ exclusive. One original, the others were all fake. Thief 4 original unspecified currency. After the original body woke up, their souls were connected. Knight Sorrow's doppelganger could feel some of the enlightenment. The second enlightenment allowed him to comprehend 11% of the space will. In other words, Knight Sorrow's bloodline talent had reached King's level. His foundation had been formed. This was what made Knight Sorrow happy. In other words, Knight Sorrow could use his own foundation to deduce and comprehend the space will and time will when he wasn't in the area where the will of heaven and earth manifested. Not long after Knight Sorrow's original body woke up, the voice of the Nine Heavens Tower's origin entered Knight Sorrow's ears. It told Knight Sorrow that he still had 90 years to cultivate in the Nine Heavens Tower. Knight Sorrow could use this time at any time. If he wanted to leave now, he could. Sovereign Zishao was right behind the Nine Heavens Tower. He could leave without anyone knowing. Yishang bowed to the void. Thank you for your magnanimity, Senior. Yishang will remember this. I will leave now. As soon as Knight Sorrow's voice fell, energy appeared around his body and teleported him out of the Nine Heavens Tower. Before Knight Sorrow could stand still, he was enveloped by energy and started flying at an incredible speed. Turning his head, Knight Sorrow saw the person who carried him flying at an incredible speed. It was the Sovereign Zishao. Get ready. We will undergo the heavenly tribulation soon. The Sovereign Zishao sensed Knight Sorrow's gaze, so he reminded Knight Sorrow. At this moment, the clouds of calamity had already appeared in the sky above them. Those were the clouds of calamity for the king's thunder calamity. Feeling the energy in his body, Knight Sorrow was quite satisfied. The myriad Tao Tome's energy was already at the level of a king. Although it was only at the initial level of a one-star king, Knight Sorrow felt that it was enough. It was already much better than some cultivators who had to undergo the thunder calamity right after breaking through. His willpower was at the level of a 2-star king's time willpower and a 1-star king's space willpower. Enduring a thunder calamity was not a problem. Knight Sorrow, your thunder calamity is not right. You have to be careful. Sovereign Zishao reminded Knight Sorrow as they flew. At this moment, the clouds of calamity had already covered the sky above them. They could not see the sun or the blue sky at all. Thank you for your reminder, Lord Sovereign. Thank you for taking care of me as well, Knight Sorrow said. Chapter 1096. Soon, Emperor Zishao left Jiuxiao Tower with Knight Sorrow. They arrived at a spacious area deep in the mountains. Then he flashed to the side. The lightning punishment was targeted at the person who was going through the punishment. Others could not help. If others acted rashly, they would be attacked by the lightning punishment. The person who was going through the punishment would still have to bear the punishment. Knight Sorrow bowed to Emperor Zishao. He waved his arm and took the samsara in his hand. Then he shook it a few times to move his muscles and bones. Knight Sorrow had not fought for a long time. At this time he was not nervous. Instead he was full of excitement. Sovereign of Purple Clouds felt strange. He had seen many sovereigns go through tribulations, and all of them were worried that they wouldn't be able to survive. But now Yishang was full of battle intent and his eyes were bright. His fingers were loosening and closing on samsara. He was obviously excited. After Knight Sorrow sorted out his emotions, the lightning punishment came. The purple and black lightning as thick as a bucket struck toward Knight Sorrow's head. Slash. With a low roar, Knight Sorrow used Spatial Rend. It was a spatial rend that was enhanced by the will of space and his bloodline talent. With the support of the monarch-level willpower, the spatial rend was extremely overbearing. The spatial rend did not close up. It stood between Knight Sorrow and the lightning, constantly devouring the lightning's energy. Only P. Original 4B version. The others are pirated. #J. When the energy of the space crack was exhausted, the lightning energy also dissipated. Night Sorrow did not use it. Instead, he used Hadouken to disperse the lightning. Emperor Zishao was extremely shocked. Bei Xing only said that Night Sorrow had entered the 2-star king level. But Night Sorrow was obviously a dual king and a dual elemental king. Moreover, they were both high-level dual elemental kings. This kind of cultivation achievement was unprecedented in the Nine Heavens realm. For the second lightning punishment, Night Sorrow used the same old method. He used the space crack and then waved his fist to disperse the lightning. The Purple Cloud Sovereign felt that Night Sorrow's thunder retribution had no reason to retreat. But in reality that wasn't the case. After Night Sorrow survived the third lightning tribulation, the tribulation clouds rolled in the sky, and the murderous aura grew stronger and stronger. Then 2 thunder tribulations struck down at the same time, which made the Purple Cloud Sovereign's expression change. The fourth wave of thunder tribulations was a double thunder tribulations, which was meant to destroy the cultivator undergoing the tribulations. Yishang once again used the spatial crack to block another lightning tribulation. Then, he soared into the sky and rushed towards another lightning tribulation. His reincarnation shook, and the spatial twisting dragon kill and the time vibration wave attacked continuously, destroying the lightning tribulation. Then he turned around and destroyed the lightning tribulation that was blocked by the spatial crack. After landing on the ground, Night Sorrow raised his head to look at the sky. The tribulation clouds were still churning, preparing for an even stronger attack. Night Sorrow, hurry up and recover. Recover as much as you can. The Purple Cloud Sovereign yelled at Night Sorrow. At this moment, his feelings were indescribable. When he entered the king's realm, he only had to face 3 thunder tribulations. Many kings faced the same thing. 4 thunder tribulations would kill many people. Night Sorrow nodded. Just as he was about to sit down and rest, he waved his hand. With a loud explosion, the 5th wave of thunder tribulations arrived. 2 more thunder tribulations struck towards Night Sorrow. The protective chi shield drew an arc in the air, and Night Sorrow only faced 1 thunder tribulations, which he continued to attack. This time, Night Sorrow used the Void Extreme Kill and the Sky Wasteland Absolute Kill. The spatial energy needed to support his body movement, and he also needed to recover. He could only use his Void Jin Chi, Void Law, Power of Desolates, Time Intent, and Time Intent. With the space intent supporting his body movement, Night Sorrow's speed was extremely fast. While retreating in an arc, he kept attacking 1 thunder tribulations with 2 types of energy. After destroying 1 thunder tribulations, Night Sorrow began to deal with the 2nd thunder tribulations. After the 5th thunder tribulations, Night Sorrow immediately sat down to recover. While recovering, Night Sorrow took the Silver Dragon's blood essence, Space Crystal, and drank the Life Spirit Liquid and Origin Spirit Liquid. This is heaven-defying. This is killing me. The Purple Cloud Sovereign murmured. He knew that if it was any other New King's Realm cultivator, they would have been turned into ashes. However, Night Sorrow's current condition was still very good. He didn't know how many thunder tribulations Heaven Dao had arranged for Night Sorrow, but he clearly understood that Night Sorrow's King's tribulation was very terrifying. Of course, this was also related to Night Sorrow's heaven-defying combat strength. When the thunder tribulation sounded again, Night Sorrow stood up and quickly retreated. Then he used the Space Revolving Dragon Kill, Space Vibration Wave, Time Fluctuation Force, and Void Extreme Point Kill to continuously bombard 1 thunder tribulations. At this moment, Night Sorrow could use the space split. He still had the space energy, but he couldn't afford to use his soul power. His soul power had to be used to stimulate the power of will and the power of law. After the 6th thunder tribulations, Night Sorrow's condition deteriorated. After all, destroying 2 thunder tribulations required a lot of energy. Without the Purple Cloud Sovereign's reminder, Night Sorrow consumed the Origin Spirit Liquid and Life Spirit Liquid. Then he used the Silver Dragon's blood essence and Space Crystal to recover. The 9 Regions Origin Bead also replenished his soul power. Danger. Night Sorrow knew that he was in danger. He didn't know how many thunder tribulations there were. If he wasn't careful, he would be in trouble. Night Sorrow, this is the Spirit Replenishing Marrow. Take 2 drops and quickly replenish your soul power. The Purple Cloud Sovereign shouted at Night Sorrow and threw a small jade bottle at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow had survived the 6 thunder tribulations. Although it was scary but not dangerous, the Purple Cloud Sovereign knew that Night Sorrow had consumed a lot of his soul power. Night Sorrow didn't hesitate. He opened the jade bottle and took 2 drops of the Spirit Replenishing Marrow. Then he used all his strength to recover. In just a moment, the 7 thunder tribulations descended. 3 thunder tribulations struck down at the same time. Night Sorrow had the urge to curse. He had read many ancient books, but there was no such thunder tribulations. With the help of the spirit replenishing marrow, his soul power recovered by 70%. Night Sorrow used the space split to block 1 thunder tribulations, then dodged the other and attacked the last thunder tribulations with all his strength. After a moment, Night Sorrow consumed 30% of his soul power to attack the first thunder tribulations. Then he used the space split to destroy the thunder tribulations. Only then did he attack the thunder tribulations that had been chasing after him. After destroying the 7th thunder tribulations, Night Sorrow only had 20% of his soul power left. Not daring to hesitate for too long, Yishang ate the spirit replenishing marrow, spirit elixir of life, and spirit elixir of origin and began to meditate. The more energy he could recover, the more hope he had. He understood that this time's lightning tribulation was a dead end. This time, the heavenly Tao's lightning tribulation was going to destroy him. The purple cloud sovereign, who was watching from the side, was full of worry. He knew that this thunder tribulations wanted to destroy him. If it were any other primary king or even a 3-star king, they would have died long ago. The thunder tribulations rolled and brewed. Night Sorrow used all his strength to recover. The more he recovered, the more hope he had. After half a cup of tea's time, the 7th thunder tribulations descended. It was still 3 thunder tribulations that struck towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow used the same method to fight the thunder tribulations. He didn't have the time-space treasure pagoda and the dragon cauldron with him, so he could only fight like this. Night Sorrow, hold on. 9 is the limit. No matter how many thunder tribulations there are, it cannot exceed 9. If you can endure it, you will win. The purple cloud sovereign shouted. Chapter 1097. After the first wave of lightning, Night Sorrow's face was pale. His bloodline talent, power of desolates, and void vital energy had been exhausted. His body was empty and all his energy had been used up. Night Sorrow, don't give up. Hurry up and recover. 1 more wave and you'll win. Looking at Night Sorrow, who had withstood the first wave of lightning tribulation but was in an extremely poor state, the sovereign of Zishao shouted. At this time, the tribulation clouds had not dispersed and were still rolling in the sky. He knew that Night Sorrow's hope was not high, but the sovereign of Zishao did not want to see Night Sorrow die, so he encouraged him, hoping that Night Sorrow could persevere with his willpower. If I live, I have to fight. I have to survive. Night Sorrow muttered in a low voice. At this time he was really tired, but when he thought of his parents and wife, his fighting spirit did not decrease. After sitting cross-legged and eating the supplementary resources, he began to recover. He had to recover his energy as soon as possible. The sovereign of Zizhao's expression was very ugly. Endless years had passed, and there had never been a cultivator as talented as Night Sorrow in the 9-Cloud World Group. However, the lightning tribulation in front of him was going to kill Night Sorrow. This made the sovereign of Zishao very sad. The 9-Cloud World Group did not have the right to speak in the Great Thousand World because their combat strength was not good enough. It was not that the cultivators of the 9-Cloud World Group did not work hard enough, but because there were no cultivators with high-level attributes. Cultivators with ordinary attributes could not be compared to cultivators with high-level attributes. Night Sorrow's appearance had given the sovereign of Divine Night and him hope, but the lightning tribulation in front of him was going to destroy the hope in his heart. This wave of lightning tribulation took a long time to brew, and it only arrived in the time it took to brew a cup of tea. Night Sorrow's energy had recovered by 20%. With an explosion, 3 bolts of lightning struck down. In the process of striking down, the 3 bolts of lightning merged into one. At the same time, the tribulation clouds dispersed, and sunlight appeared in the sky. Come on. As long as I live, I will fight. As long as I, Night Sorrow, am not dead, I will continue to fight. I will fight the heavens, the earth, and the gods and demons. Night Sorrow looked up and roared, but he did not get up. The energy in his body was too little to extinguish the lightning tribulation. The only thing he could do now was to endure it. He dispersed all the energy into his body and used his body to resist the lightning tribulation. The purple cloud sovereign was surprised. He didn't understand why Night Sorrow didn't stand up and fight. At this moment, the lightning struck Night Sorrow's body and enveloped Night Sorrow's body. The destructive power of the lightning wandered and destroyed Night Sorrow's body. As Night Sorrow's body was extremely strong, almost like an energy form, the speed of destruction was not fast. After all, Night Sorrow's body was augmented by the power of desolates. The pain was unbearable. Night Sorrow's two types of will and the law of nothingness propped up, blocking his body. This caused the speed of the lightning to slow down, and the speed of the damage was reduced. His body also recovered faster. The ratio of damage to recovery wasn't proportional, but the difference wasn't huge. Night Sorrow could still endure. As long as he could endure it, it would be considered a victory. The Purple Cloud Sovereign couldn't see Night Sorrow's body, but he could sense everything with his soul power. When he saw Night Sorrow using his body to resist the lightning tribulation, he was shocked beyond words. Endure it? The Purple Cloud Sovereign kept repeating in his heart. Forever and free and watch #J say #J. Time passed slowly. The energy in Night Sorrow's body was getting less and less. He couldn't endure it for much longer. When the energy in his body was completely exhausted, Yishan could only rely on his body's regenerative abilities to recover. Just as the energy in his body was exhausted and Yishan felt that his life was coming to an end, the lightning attribute changed. The destructive black demon lightning disappeared and was replaced by the purple flame lightning, which contained the aura of life. When the purple flaming thunder was destroying Night Sorrow's body, it was also filled with vitality. When it was destroying Night Sorrow's body, it also cooperated with Night Sorrow's body's energy recovery. When the ratio of destruction to recovery was proportional, Night Sorrow knew that he had passed this stage. This was the last lightning tribulation. Night Sorrow was confident, but the Purple Cloud Sovereign wasn't. He was worried that Night Sorrow would turn into ashes in the next moment. The lightning gradually weakened, and Night Sorrow's body was gradually revealed. His robe had turned into ashes, and his hair had been destroyed. At the critical moment, Night Sorrow's energy couldn't keep up, and he couldn't protect himself. When the lightning completely turned into vitality, Night Sorrow's hair grew back. After surviving a calamity, this was what it meant to survive a calamity in the lightning tribulation. After passing through the most difficult stage of destruction, what was left was a chance for survival. A quarter of an hour later, the lightning disappeared. Night Sorrow was still recovering. To be more precise, he was cultivating. After being baptized by the lightning tribulation, his body had changed. His flesh, blood, and bones were all purple crystals. Inside the crystals was the energy of his flesh and blood. What shocked Night Sorrow was that there were 3 special energies in his body. 2 of them were black and 1 was purple. They were moving around in his body. 2 of the black energies were filled with the aura of destruction, and 1 of them was filled with vitality. The Purple Cloud Sovereign looked at his hands. His palms were wet with sweat. It was inconceivable that a sovereign would sweat. At this moment, auspicious clouds appeared in the sky. They were 10-colored auspicious clouds. The 7-colored auspicious clouds were surrounded by black and white. Inside the black and white lines were golden. After the auspicious clouds descended, they shrouded Night Sorrow. This was the heavenly reward after the lightning tribulation. Night Sorrow, who was cultivating, flipped his hands and then closed them under his chest. The recovered energy in his body burst out and absorbed all the auspicious clouds into his body. In a few breaths, the auspicious clouds were absorbed by Night Sorrow. However, the golden auspicious clouds weren't under Night Sorrow's control. They just slowly merged into the deep sea of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow knew that it was the light of virtue. After meditating for half a day, Night Sorrow had recovered to his peak state. His light of virtue had completely fused with the light of virtue in his divine sea. The energy of the other auspicious clouds had also been sealed by Night Sorrow's body. After putting on his robe, Night Sorrow stood up and bowed to the Purple Cloud Sovereign. "Thank you, Lord Sovereign, for protecting me." "Ah, good, very good. You've made it through safely. You've opened my eyes. No one has done it before. Let's go. When we reach your 9 regions world, we'll drink and celebrate." The Purple Cloud Sovereign smiled. The Purple Cloud Sovereign was very excited. The appearance of such a lightning tribulation proved that Night Sorrow was heaven-defying. As long as Night Sorrow didn't die, his rise would be unstoppable. The Purple Cloud Sovereign wrapped Night Sorrow in his energy and started to fly. When they reached the 9-Cloud City, they came to the teleportation array. The Purple Cloud Sovereign's energy was very thick. Only a sovereign could see through it. Then, the Purple Cloud Sovereign brought Night Sorrow to the mysterious sky world. "We'll be safe in your territory." The Purple Cloud Sovereign turned to look at Night Sorrow and said, Then I'll invite Lord Sovereign to my territory. Night Sorrow was very relaxed. They would be safe in the Seven Nights City. Great. I'll take a walk in your territory. The Purple Cloud Sovereign nodded with a smile. Then the two teleported to the Big Dipper City. After a turn, they arrived at the Seven Nights City. What a big new city. Standing outside the teleportation array, the Purple Cloud Sovereign was stunned. Chapter 1098. To be honest, Lord Monarch, this was built by the people of the Nine Regions world. It's the foundation of the Nine Regions world and the mysterious Sky world. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow trusted Monarch Zishao. If Monarch Zishao had any ideas, he could easily kill him. This time he sent him back because he was worried about his safety. Very good. If the cultivators of a world want to improve, they must connect with other worlds. This way the cultivation level, the exchange of resources, and other aspects will improve. It's not good to build a cart behind closed doors. Monarch Zishao nodded. Night Sorrow brought Monarch Zishao to the small building beside the Seven Nights Lake. This was his residence in the Seven Nights City. When they arrived at the Seven Nights Lake, Night Sorrow introduced his wives, Xueshi and Zhu Jiuyun, to Monarch Zishao. Very good. They are all filled with spiritual energy. The purple flaming thunder attribute is very good. Monarch Zishao looked at Yang Lei and nodded. At this time, Night Sorrow's doppelganger arrived and merged with Night Sorrow's original body. Thank you for your help, Lord Monarch. This is the best tea I got in the boundless soul world. Please have a taste. Night Sorrow took out the soul-nurturing tea and brewed a pot. After drinking the soul-nurturing tea, they closed their eyes and meditated. Night Sorrow didn't drink it. When the others were meditating, he thought for a while and took out 2 drops of soul-nurturing liquid and put it into a jade bottle. Although Night Sorrow didn't ask Monarch Zishao for help, Monarch Zishao had done something for him. He didn't want to owe anyone a favor. He also felt that Monarch Zishao was worthy of the soul-nurturing liquid. However, giving him 3 drops was too much. He didn't need to flatter anyone. After that, Night Sorrow drank the soul-nurturing tea and began to meditate to refine the energy given by the soul-nurturing tea. When Night Sorrow woke up, Monarch Zishao was already standing at the side looking at the Seven Nights Lake. The other women were still meditating with their eyes closed. Hehe, it seems that you have gained a lot in the boundless soul world. This time, I have also benefited a lot. Thank you. Monarch Zishao cupped his hands to Night Sorrow. Only one original B, the others? Both 4/yes equals pirated J. Lord Monarch, you are too kind. Night Sorrow is just being a good host. Please take this. Night Sorrow handed the bottle of soul cultivation liquid to Purple Cloud Monarch. The Purple Cloud Sovereign took the jade bottle and glanced at Night Sorrow before opening it. Soul nurturing liquid. It's too valuable. I can't accept it, said the Purple Cloud Sovereign. In Night Sorrow's heart, a drop of water should be repaid with a gushing spring. Your spirit replenishing marrow has helped me greatly. Furthermore, with Lord Monarch's virtue, you are qualified to use it. Night Sorrow said. Alright, then I won't be pretentious. Also, if you need anything in the future, you can come to Nine Heavens City to find me. We're old friends, said Sovereign Zishao. He had changed his title from I to I, which meant that he had acknowledged Night Sorrow. Don't be in a hurry to go back. Come to my Nine Regions world for a drink later. Night Sorrow invited him. I didn't say I was going back immediately. Of course, I have to go to the Nine Regions world. Besides, your 9th senior sister is very suitable to cultivate my martial arts. Then I will talk to my 9th senior sister. As for the soul-nurturing liquid, Lord Monarch, please help me keep it a secret. I don't want to make a big deal out of it. If 2 drops of soul-nurturing liquid isn't enough, I still have some. Night Sorrow thought for a while and said, You are quite an interesting guy. Why do you want to split it into 2? Monarch Zishao asked with a smile. Of course it's different. The first 2 drops were for Monarch Zishao. If I give more, it will be for a friend. Night Sorrow indirectly expressed his attitude and his principles. Well said. But 2 drops are enough. When I entered the Infinite Soul Realm, I got 4 drops of soul-nurturing liquid. I gave 3 to my senior brother, so I still have 1 drop left. Originally, 1 drop of soul-nurturing liquid could increase a monarch's strength a lot, but in fact, when I escaped from the Infinite Soul Realm, the God Orb left some problems. I had to endure pain every day. Although it didn't affect my cultivation, it was still a flaw. The pain tortured me for countless years. After I entered the Monarch Realm, I used that drop of soul-nurturing liquid to recover. The 2 drops you gave me are just the limit. I see. Night Sorrow didn't expect Monarch Zishao to have such an experience. You have to remember that soul-nurturing liquid is a rare resource. Once you use it, it will be gone. The time difference between the last time the Infinite Soul Realm appeared and this time was more than 1,000,000 years. Besides, you and I both know how difficult it is to get soul-nurturing liquid. It's almost an impossible task, so you must have backup. Monarch Zishao reminded Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that Monarch Zishao's advice was priceless. It was all for his own good. 3 hours later, the girls woke up. Night Sorrow led the group and Monarch Zishao to the city in the sky. Good scenery, good scenery. Monarch Zishao said after arriving at the city in the sky. The 9-domain world was formed relatively late. The tribulation to become a high-level world hasn't passed yet. Night Sorrow said. I was wondering why it was strange. It's not a high-level world, but it has the aura of a high-level world. Is there a problem with passing the tribulation? Monarch Zishao asked. No problem. Now I need to improve my strength. Of course it's not a problem. Night Sorrow nodded. Because Monarch Shinshao was in seclusion, Monarch Zishao was in charge of the 9 heavens world. He didn't stay long. He had a drink with Night Sorrow in the city in the sky and left. Before leaving, the Purple Cloud Sovereign had told Yi Shang that if there wasn't anything important, he shouldn't leave the 9 regions world. His clone could go out and take care of things. If there was a problem, he could take away the teleportation crystal. That way, no matter what Princess Qing Wan wanted to do, she wouldn't be able to enter the 9 regions world. After knowing this, Xia Jun, who had cultivated a clone, was willing to guard the teleportation formation. She was now a peak saint and couldn't enter the Saint King realm. So, she wanted to cultivate in another way. She and her clone guarded the 2 ends of the teleportation formation. It was impossible for anyone to enter the 9-domain world. The teleportation crystal could be taken away at any time. Night Sorrow's clone went to the 7-Night Lake in the 7-Night City to cultivate alchemy and weapon refining. His main body stayed in the city in the sky. His realm was enough, but his cultivation wasn't enough. Night Sorrow wanted to improve his cultivation. After saying goodbye to his parents and wife, Night Sorrow went to the 10th floor of the Time and Space Pagoda and started to cultivate in seclusion. At this time he used the Saint Spirit Stone and the Silver Dragon Blood Essence together. The most effective way to improve his cultivation was the 9 Transformation Pill, but he hadn't refined it yet. Before cultivating, Night Sorrow ate an Elixir Pattern Spirit Accumulation Pill. He naturally wanted to improve his cultivation aptitude. Aptitude determined one's achievements. No one would complain about having a high cultivation aptitude. While improving his cultivation, Night Sorrow also deduced the time intent. Night Sorrow had places to comprehend the space intent, but the most effective place to comprehend the time intent was the 9 Heavens Pagoda. The 9 Heavens Pagoda had a time limit. When Night Sorrow was cultivating, the teleportation formation in the 9 Heavens world vibrated, and a blue carriage appeared. Chapter 1099. There were 3 gigantic cyan birds driving the carriage. They were cyan birds. 2 women were standing in front of the birds. An old man was standing on the left side of the carriage. A woman was standing on the right side. Behind the carriage were 4 men in black clothes and 4 women in white dresses. "Princess, we're in the continent of the 9 clouds," said the old man on the left side of the carriage. "The continent of the 9 cloud city," said a clear voice from the carriage. They were flying. The imperial chariot and the group of people flew in the air, attracting the attention of countless people. In fact, Princess Qing Wan's carriage was different from the ones used by emperors. Actually, it was a high-level phoenix carriage. It was a carriage for women with high social status in the dynasty. The phoenix carriage arrived at the gate of the continent of the 9 cloud city. When they arrived at the gate of the continent of the 9 cloud city, the carriage landed. The old man on the left side of the carriage bowed and said, "Princess, we're here." "Wait," said a voice from the carriage. At that moment, the guards of the continent of the 9 cloud city moved. They appeared on both sides of the carriage with weapons in their hands. "How dare you disrespect us? Do you want to die?" said the old man fiercely. "Greetings, Princess Qing Wan. Who are you? You're too arrogant, aren't you? Do you think the continent of the 9 clouds is your home?" After the Purple Cloud Sovereign appeared, he cupped his hands at the phoenix chariot and looked at the elder in black standing in front of the phoenix chariot. "Mr. Zhua, you can leave," said a voice from the carriage. A voice came from the phoenix chariot. Then the beaded curtains in front of the phoenix chariot moved and a woman appeared. She was wearing a golden dress. She didn't have any accessories on her head, only a jade hairpin and 2 ribbons. She had a beautiful nose and red lips. She looked majestic. Greetings, Emperor Zishao. I'm here to visit the continent of the 9 clouds. Sorry to disturb you, said the woman, nodding at Emperor Zishao. Princess Qingwan, you're welcome to visit the continent of the 9 clouds. Please come in, said Emperor Zishao. The top forces of the supreme world were powerful, but the realm of the 9 heavens wasn't affiliated with anyone. Therefore, when Zhuo Tengfei reprimanded the guards of the palace of the city leader, Sovereign Zishao retaliated. He also expressed his attitude that they were welcome to travel, but this wasn't their territory. After entering the city lord mansion and sitting down, Princess Qingwan glanced around. Is Senior Divine Knight Monarch not here? My senior brother went into seclusion a while ago, so Lord Qing Emperor sent me a message. Only I can receive Princess Qingwan's trip this time. The Purple Cloud Sovereign said. So it's like that. I've seen the Emperor of Godly Clouds once before. This time I'm going to pay you a visit. It seems like the timing is not good, so I can only forget about it. This time I came to the continent of the 9 heavens. My father's fortune teller predicted that a group of virtuous people would be born in the continent of the 9 heavens. I haven't seen any virtuous people for many years, so I want to meet them. Living beings exist in the world as long as they don't do evil, they have some virtuous deeds. I don't know what virtuous people Princess Qingwan is talking about, said the Purple Cloud Sovereign Zishao. When Knight Sorrow participated in the competition of the first saint of the 100 worlds, he knew that Knight Sorrow had a virtuous body. At that time, Knight Sorrow's virtuous deeds were only in the 9 regions world. A while ago, when Knight Sorrow went through the Culpa test, the Purple Cloud Sovereign was sure that Knight Sorrow also had virtuous deeds in the continent of the 9 heavens, and his virtuous body had been activated. At first, he didn't know how Knight Sorrow got his virtuous deeds in the continent of the 9 heavens. Then he thought about the soul cultivation liquid that Knight Sorrow had obtained in the boundless soul world. At least the Black Sky Monarch had used it, which meant that the continent of the 9 heavens had improved its strength. My father's diviner told your majesty that the virtuous person is very virtuous. I have to see such a person. Besides, the Culpa test appeared in the continent of the 9 heavens. That's a big deal, said the Purple Cloud Sovereign. I'm sorry about that. There are 100 worlds in the continent of the 9 heavens. The continent of the 9 heavens city is a place where the 100 worlds gather and solve disputes. However, it's not the ruler of the 100 worlds, so I don't know much about it, said the Purple Cloud Sovereign. I understand. Your Majesty just wants to walk around casually. I don't know if the Purple Cloud Sovereign can borrow a guide so that your Majesty doesn't have to go around asking questions, said the Purple Cloud Sovereign. Tell Commander and Ran to come here, said the Purple Cloud Sovereign to the guards in the hall. After a while, a woman in silver armor came into the hall and bowed to the Purple Cloud Sovereign. It's Enran's pleasure to meet you, Lord Monarch, Enran said. This is the Purple Cloud Sovereign. The Purple Cloud Sovereign wants to travel in the continent of the 9 heavens. You'll be the guide. You can't be careless, said the Purple Cloud Sovereign. I understand. I'll do my best to protect the princess, said Enran nodding. You don't need to protect them. I'll just be the guide, said the Purple Cloud Sovereign. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, Your Majesty will leave now, said the Purple Cloud Sovereign. She stood up and walked out of the palace. The Purple Cloud Sovereign was unhappy. She had talked to the Qing Emperor and investigated the continent of the 9 heavens. The continent of the 9 heavens didn't submit to any group of the supreme worlds. In the Purple Cloud Sovereign's mind, a group of high-level worlds didn't have the confidence to face the top groups of the supreme worlds because the top groups of the supreme worlds had countless subordinate worlds. They were very powerful. It was easy for them to destroy a group of worlds. For example, the Qing Emperor's dynasty had more than 20 subordinate high-level worlds. But today the Purple Cloud Sovereign didn't show any flattery or humility. Princess, they're very rude. Aren't they afraid that we'll attack them and conquer them directly? Said Zhuo Tengfei. There's a good saying. A warrior can be killed but not humiliated. Maybe there are more warriors like that in the continent of the 9 heavens. At least the higher-ups have the strength of character. It's meaningless to attack them, said the Purple Cloud Sovereign. I just think that the princess shouldn't be bullied, said Zhuo Tingfei. In the continent of the nine heavens, the purple cloud sovereign was only the daughter of a leader of a top group. But in the reincarnation world it wasn't like that. The purple cloud sovereign controlled the purple cloud sovereign army. There were countless king sovereigns under her command. In the battle with other top groups she had never lost. She was an invincible figure in the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Since it's a trip, don't think too much. We must find the virtuous merit saint because such a person is worth training and using. The virtuous merit saint isn't rare. The virtuous merit king is very important. If it's the virtuous merit monarch, it can change the situation, said the purple cloud sovereign. I understand, said Zhuo Tingfei. There's a pill tribulation in the continent of the nine heavens. We must find the person who caused it, said the purple cloud sovereign. Chapter 1100. Commander Enran, come to your Majesty's side. Your Majesty has some questions for you. Princess Qing Yuan, who was sitting in the phoenix carriage, called out to Enran, who was some distance away from the phoenix carriage. Princess Qing Yuan, please feel free to ask, Enran said. The purple cloud sovereign didn't say anything to Enran. He hid Night Sorrow from Enran. He didn't make any other arrangements and just let nature take its course. Your Majesty is the Qing Emperor of the reincarnation world, Qing Yuan of the Qing dynasty. She came to your nine firmament world to do some things. Your purple firmament monarch is also clear about this. Do you understand this point? Princess Qing Yuan said. Enran understands. We will cooperate fully. Enran nodded. This was Princess Qing Yuan's brilliance as well as her way of ruling. She first explained the relationship between the high and low ranks. Take us to a quiet inn in Jiushao City. Also, in the past 300 years, have there been any outstanding people in Jiushao world? Asked the Blue Phoenix monarch. Around 300 years ago, Yao Dao from Demon Moon world entered King's realm at the age of 1,500. 220 years ago, Qin Han from Yuan Ling world entered King's realm at the age of 1,300. Enran thought for a moment and said, are there any more outstanding and younger cultivators? Or someone with great influence? Princess Qing Yuan said. Zhuo Tingfei scoffed at Enran's answer. Entering the king realm at over 1,000 years old was common in the supreme world. For latest. Chapter 1, the most influential person is king, but he is very old, so Enran doesn't know the details. Also, there is a very influential young man in the last 10 years. Princess Qing Yuan, there is Green Bamboo Villa in front of you. It is also the quietest inn in Nine Heavens City. Enran didn't care about Zhuo Tingfei's smile. She just wanted to do her job as a tour guide. Then stay here and rest. Bai Ling, you go make the arrangements. Also, the young man you mentioned, how young is he? After Princess Qing Yuan instructed the maid, she asked Enran again. I've heard that he's only 100 years old. He's the leader of the first saints in the continent of the nine clouds. He's a half-king and he has high-level willpower. He's also fighting against two kings. Those two kings can't do anything to him. Many kings have been looking for him recently, but they haven't found him. Enran told him about Night Sorrow. A half-step king realm around 100 years old. If he's not stuck, then he's very powerful, the Blue Phoenix sovereign said. It's normal to be stuck for a few thousand years. If you can't break through to the king realm, it's not strange for your lifespan to run out. You don't have to brag so much. Zhuo Tingfei looked at Enran and said. What did you achieve when you were 100 years old? Don't be so sarcastic. I'm a guide. I'm Princess Qing Yuan's guide. I'm not here to look at your face. Enran turned her head and looked at Zhuo Tingfei. Zhuo Tingfei had made fun of her for the first time, but now he was belittling the people of the continent of the nine clouds. She couldn't stand it anymore. You dare talk nonsense with me? Zhuo Tingfei was angry, but he didn't attack because Princess Qing Yuan was giving orders. Alright old Zhuo, don't say too much. Commander, and don't be so angry. Tell me about this young man. At this moment, the phoenix carriage landed. Princess Qing Yuan walked out of the phoenix carriage and waved her hand at old Zhuo. That person is called Night Sorrow. He appeared 10 years ago. At the meeting of the first saints in the continent of the nine clouds, he showed that he had 90% empty space willpower. He can enter the king realm at any time. It's said that he came from a small world. After he appeared, he caused some trouble. I don't know the details, said Enran. 100 years old, 90% empty space willpower. Mr. Zhuo, send people to investigate him, said Princess Qing Yuan to Zhuo Tingfei. Zhuo Tengfei then told the two men in black. Under the guidance of the maid, a group of people entered the green bamboo villa and stayed there. Letting in Ran rest and wait for the arrangements, Princess Qing Wan sat in the main seat of the inn, thinking. Princess, the people of the Nine Clouds world don't know how to appreciate favors. A small commander dares to make a fuss. Zhuo Tengfei was angry. Zhuo Tengfei was a commander of the Qing Wan army, and also a guard of Qing Wan. He had a high position in the Qing Emperor dynasty. At that time, Your Majesty said that a warrior can be killed but not humiliated. The cultivators of the Nine Clouds world have a warrior's strength of character. Even a small commander has pride in his bones, said Princess Qing Wan. But 100 years old with 90% empty space willpower is really impressive. Although Zhuo Tengfei didn't give Ran a good face, the news about Night Sorrow still shocked him. That's one of the reasons. The half-step king can fight against more than one king's forces. It proves that he's very brave. The fact that he hasn't been dealt with means that he's brainless. He's a genius. Princess Qing Wan analyzed and came to a conclusion. Dig him out and bring him back. Princess, you can teach him a lesson. He can be useful in the future. Zhuo Tengfei nodded. He agreed with Princess Qing Wan's analysis. It's not easy. He can fight against king's forces. It means that he's not a person who compromises easily. Let's see, said Princess Qing Wan. After 7 days, the people sent by Princess Qing Wan returned with detailed information about Night Sorrow. They even found out that Night Sorrow had participated in the Dan King conference. They also found out that Night Sorrow had a relationship with Big Dipper City's Sage Pavilion. He entered the Boundless Territory and got the 10,000 life Boundless Fruit. He also entered the Boundless Soul Realm. It's very likely that he got the Soul Cultivation Liquid. Not bad, let's go to the Sky Profound World. Princess Qing Wan was more interested in Yi Shang. It didn't matter whether Yi Shang was a person of merit or not, or whether he was related to the Pill Tribulation. She wanted to meet Yi Shang. In the teleportation array, Lord Shen Tian's soul clone appeared. He casually talked with Princess Qing Wan and left. Then Princess Qing Wan went to stay in Big Dipper City. King didn't react. He couldn't stop Princess Qing Wan and he didn't want to go up to her. He just ignored her. This situation made Zhuo Tengfei and the others very angry because they didn't put Princess Qing Wan in their eyes. Forget it, there's no need to bother about these things. It's normal for them to reject us. However, Night Sorrow isn't easy to find. Let's look for him for a while. Also, investigate the person of merit carefully. If it doesn't work, we can try using Sage Wan's divination plate. However, it's hard to say if the divination plate will lock onto Night Sorrow. Princess, we don't have a guarantee. If we aren't in the same world as the person of merit and the person who triggered the Pill Tribulation, the divination plate will lose its effect. We'll lose a trump card. Zhuo Tengfei said. Divination masters could use divination plates based on the results of divination. However, divination plates had many restrictions. After all, it was against heaven's will. Many divination masters didn't have this ability. Chapter 1101. Then continue to investigate. Investigate the person of merit, the person who triggered the Pill Tribulation and Night Sorrow. Princess Qing Wan gave the order again. At this moment in Beidou Manor, Big Dipper King, Greedy Wolf King, and Bei Xing were drinking tea. How arrogant, using a phoenix carriage when going out and even having a Saint King level beast pull it. Bei Xing took a sip of tea and curled his lips. She has the right to be arrogant. Her personal attendant is an overlord, and her guards and maids are king. How can she not be arrogant? Big Dipper King said. Her personal attendant is an overlord? Bei Xing's eyes were filled with disbelief. Lord Shen Tian Overlord sent a message to me. Princess Qing Wan herself is an overlord. She has a overlord personal attendant, and the guards and 3 maids are king. Big Dipper King nodded to Bei Xing. She's really strong. Bei Xing exhaled and said. Reincarnation world, there are many world groups around it. There are dozens of world groups affiliated to the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Think about it, our 9 Firmament world group has dozens of overlords. How many overlords can the Qing Emperor's dynasty mobilize? They have the qualifications to not put our 9 Firmament world group in their eyes. At this point, the Beidou Sovereign King was also very helpless. World groups submitting and becoming affiliated forces, that's really disgusting. They don't have any strength of character. Greedy Wolf King said. The only original version was P4 and the others were pirated. Big Dipper King shook his head and told Greedy Wolf King and Bei Xing some facts. No matter the size of the space world, high level or low level, it was not a stable world without a realm master. Overlords and king couldn't enter, but saint kings and saints could, right? Without anyone noticing, after setting up the realm teleportation formation, sovereigns and sovereigns would enter and forcefully conquer it without any difficulty. A world with a sector lord was different. This was because the sector lord could sense the tearing and shattering of the world's barrier through the world's origin. If someone entered, they would sense it and would not give others the chance to enter and sneak attack and occupy the world. The reason why the Nine Heavens world had not been invaded was that the origin of the Nine Heavens world was relatively strong. It could perceive the situation of the world barrier and communicate with the sovereign of Divine Sky and the sovereign of Zishao. It was difficult for other worlds to break in. At present, the teleportation formation could be dismantled at any time. Besides, no force was willing to do something that was strenuous and unrewarding. Of course, if they offended the top forces of a supreme world, it was inevitable that they would be destroyed. That was the situation in the group of the Nine Heavens world. The situation in the other groups was different. They couldn't resist the invasion of other top forces, so they could only become affiliated worlds and develop under the leadership of the core forces. They were on the same war chariot as the core forces. The Nine Clouds world group was located in the middle of the reincarnation world and the black-yellow world. Because there was some distance between them, the forces of the two worlds had not attacked the Nine Clouds world group yet. It's so hard to live. I have to always look at other people's faces. Bei Xing's voice was a little low. There are exceptions. The Zhang Di of the black-yellow world was born in a small world, but his strength is unparalleled. The indigenous world he was born in is as stable as Mount Tai. It has been renamed the Spiritual Warrior's World. The Big Dipper King said. The Zhang Di. That's a very domineering name. Bei Xing said. Of course, he is one of the supreme figures in the black-yellow world. He can stand shoulder to shoulder with the black-yellow Great Emperor. The Big Dipper King said with a smile. Let's not talk about this. It's confusing. This time Night Sorrow is safe. They can't do anything. Bei Xing said. At this time, another group of people appeared in the teleportation formation of the Nine Heavens world. The leader was a man with a crown. This group of people was very rude when they arrived at the palace of the Nine Heavens city. I am Chi Du, the sixth son of the Red Emperor of the reincarnation world. Now I want to take away the people of the Nine Heavens world with merits. Please cooperate with me, sovereign of Zishao. Chi Du entered the hall of the palace of the city and said very impolitely. I don't know. If you want people, go find them yourself. The sovereign of Zishao looked at Chi Du coldly and said, How dare you be rude to me? If this goes well, I will let you go. If not, you wait. Chi Du narrowed his eyes and glanced at the sovereign of Zishao. Then he took his people and left the palace of the Nine Heavens city. Watching Chi Du and the others leave, the sovereign of Zishao sighed. He was helpless when he was not as strong as them. He knew that the divination technique of the reincarnation world was very powerful. If the Qing Emperor's dynasty could discover it, so could the Red Emperor's kingdom. The sovereign of Zishao knew that this was the doom of the Nine Heavens world and also Night Sorrow's doom. Chi Du investigated for a while. The result was the same as Princess Qing Wan. They all pointed to Night Sorrow. The difference was that Chi Du took his people to Biji City. Yen Tianpa did not give him face. His battle doppelganger took the teleportation crystal of the teleportation formation and left to hide. He only left a doppelganger to send a message. When Chi Du and the others arrived at the teleportation formation, Yen Tianpa directly said that the Wuji world did not welcome outsiders. You are the world lord. We can't break into the Wuji world, but we can flatten your Biji city. Chi Du said with an ashen face. If you dare to touch this seat's two extremities city, this seat will be able to create clones unceasingly. None of your descendants will be allowed to leave this place. Otherwise you should understand. Don't doubt the veracity of my words. Remember, at that time I will stop at nothing. I will be as ruthless as I can be. After saying those words, Yen Tianpa's spiritual clone directly dissipated. Do it. Flatten this place. Chi Du was so angry that his hair was flying. Young lord, you can't. The world lord of a world is immortal. This guy is a mad dog. There is no need to be hostile with him. An old man beside Chi Du said. Chi Du's face was ashen. He flicked his sleeves and left. Although he was infuriated, he really couldn't do anything to Yen Tianpa. Yen Tianpa's original body was immortal. Could he always find trouble with his opponents? Chi Du wasn't afraid. Then why should the descendants of the Red Emperor be afraid? Not everyone had the ability to protect themselves. Since he couldn't make a move on BG City, Chidu went to the Tianding Gate to investigate. Under the Black Heaven Monarch's message, the members of Danding Peak were hidden by Old Xiang. Chidu didn't find anything. His final target was Big Dipper City. When Chidu and the others arrived at Big Dipper City, Princess Qingyuan knew about it. She knew that the situation was complicated. "Princess, why don't we make a move and make them unable to return?" Zhuo Tingfei said. "It's very difficult. They have left their own territory. It's impossible that they don't have any backup plans. Didn't Tai Er say that Chidu has Qi Nantian beside him? We can win, but killing all of them will be difficult. Besides, we have more important things to do. Don't bother about this mad dog." Princess Qingyuan said. Tai Er was one of her guards. Chidu was a little famous in the reincarnation world. He was famous for his viciousness. Chapter 1102. Princess, if we find the target and want to take it away, Chidu and the others might interfere. Zhuo Tingfei said. "Don't worry, if they dare to talk nonsense with us, then kill them. They found the target first and spoiled our plans, so kill them too. They can come here to play, but if they want to get something, they can't stop us from getting it," Princess Qingyuan said. While Princess Qingyuan was talking with Zhuo Tingfei, her other guard, Yin San, came back and reported what happened in Two Extreme City. Princess Qingyuan had a guard and 3 maids. Among the guards, the 4 males were ranked in iron and the 4 females were ranked in silver. As the world lord, you have enough confidence. You don't need to give anyone face. If you dare to shout at them, they will dare to threaten you. Chidu, this mad dog, is embarrassed. Princess Qingyuan had a rare smile on her face. Reincarnation world was a supreme world. There were many top powers. The Qing Emperor's dynasty and the Red Emperor's country were neighboring powers. The hatred between the two was very big. Chidu also admired Qingyuan, but Qingyuan despised Chidu's sinister personality and slapped Chidu's face. The two could be said to be life and death enemies. Now that Chidu was defeated, she was naturally very happy. Afterwards, Princess Qingyuan sent people to investigate for another half a month, but they didn't get any news. In the past 300 years, the 9 Firmament World Group didn't have any powerful characters, only Night Sorrow. After Princess Qingyuan gathered her subordinates, she took out the divination disc and activated it. Now that the Red Emperor's country was interfering, Princess Qingyuan didn't want to delay any longer. It would be best if there was a result from the divination disc, but if there wasn't, she would slowly investigate. After the divination disc was activated, the stable arrow on top moved. After a while, the arrow pointed to the sky. This was a hint that the target wasn't in this world, but then it shook again and pointed to another direction. "Princess, what's going on?" Zhuo Tingyun didn't understand. "Original body and clone, this divination disc is looking for people with merit. It can't be 2 targets. This hint should be the difference between the original body and the clone." Princess Qingyuan's lips curled up slightly. She was afraid that she wouldn't be able to find the target. It would be best if the target was the main body, but it didn't matter if it was a clone. She felt that she could deal with it. At this time, Night Sorrow was refining weapons. He had already refined 2 king-grade swords, and now he was preparing to upgrade Spacebreaker. This was related to the battle strength of his avatar. As for the materials, he had spatial essence iron and some auxiliary materials. In terms of personal material collection, Night Sorrow was not inferior to anyone. He had done many expeditions and every time he had a great harvest. At this time, only Xueshi was taking care of him in the small house by the 7-Night Lake. Xueshi was already a Star Saint King. Xueshi was here because Night Sorrow couldn't chase her away. The others had already been chased away by Night Sorrow because this place could be discovered by Princess Qingyuan at any time. As for completely avoiding her, Night Sorrow also thought about it and felt that it was impossible because 7-Night City couldn't run away from here. If the other party found this place, then she had a certain understanding. If he avoided her, then the result was very likely that 7-Night City would be destroyed. The destruction of 7-Night City was very likely to be light, but a heavy one would implicate many people. Night Sorrow was very careful in upgrading Spacebreaker. He also used the best materials he had accumulated. Positive P version array after array was carved, then smelted and hammered, then carved again, hammered and smelted again. A king-grade weapon needed to be hammered thousands of times. Xueshi was at the side brewing tea and holding a towel. Sometimes she would help Night Sorrow wipe his sweat. Of Night Sorrow's 3 weapons, the Samsara, the Sky Splitter, and the Sky Splitter Spear, the Samsara had been crudely forged. Its grade was high because it had been nourished by the divine weapon energy of the 9 regions' origins. Night Sorrow had even upgraded it. Now, he was forging the Sky Splitter with caution because he wanted to build a foundation. Spatial array, time array, energy vibration array, rotation array. When Night Sorrow was refining, he added a lot of array. They were all tailor-made for his battle skills. Half a month later, Spacebreaker was once again forged by Night Sorrow. There was a silver dragon coiling around the black pole. That was a densely packed rotation array prepared for the spatial whirling dragon kill. There was an energy vibration array inside the pole. The tip was also an array that coordinated with the wave force. When Night Sorrow was carving the last array, Princess Qing Wan brought people to the lakeside of Seven Night Lake. Although it's not very polite, they are still guests. Brew some tea and receive them. After Night Sorrow instructed Xueshi, he continued to carve the array and then continued hammering. Night Sorrow's words made Princess Qing Wan stunned, but she didn't have any words to refute. They directly flew over, which was equivalent to trespassing on other people's territory. It was impolite in itself. Stand guard further away. Don't let others disturb this place. Qing Wan waved her skirt and sat down. She let the guards go to the side. The main reason was because Night Sorrow was now at the crucial stage of forging weapons. As she observed, Qing Wan's face was filled with shock. Because he wanted the array to be perfect, Night Sorrow used different energy and will of heaven and earth to activate the array of different attributes. Spatial energy, time energy, will of space and will of time were constantly displayed. At this crucial moment, Night Sorrow couldn't hide it. In addition, Qing Wan's sovereign also saw the golden light of virtue behind Night Sorrow's head. Cultivators were all patient. Night Sorrow needed a lot of time to forge weapons, but Qing Wan's sovereign could wait. Finding a target was something to be happy about. Time slipped away bit by bit. Princess Qing Wan arrived 2.5 days later. Night Sorrow finished forging Sky Splitter. After carving the word, death, on the back of the handle, Night Sorrow flipped Sky Splitter upside down and cut his wrist. A stream of red blood with a hint of gold sprinkled on Sky Splitter. Name is Sky Splitter. You will accompany me to conquer the world. Night Sorrow roared in a low voice. At this moment, the sky was dark. The tribulation cloud had already appeared. Night Sorrow ignored it and held Sky Splitter horizontally with both hands. Soon after, his right hand shook. 3 sets of battle skills, Space Whirling Dragon Kill, Space Vibration Wave, and Time Vibration Force were released. A black hole was created in the space, following which spiderweb-like cracks extended to a radius of 3 feet. Soon after, the space collapsed. Seal. Night Sorrow waved his left hand. The will of space burst forth, sealing the turbulence in the space hole, following which the space quickly closed. At this moment, the tribulation cloud rumbled and a thunderbolt struck down. Sky Splitter, which was originally in Night Sorrow's hand, shook and soared into the sky. It carried a murderous aura as it rushed towards the thunderbolt. You are my Night Sorrow's weapon. You can do it. Night Sorrow raised his head and looked at the sky. Princess Qing Wan and her subordinates were the same. They all raised their heads and looked at the sky, watching the battle between Sky Splitter and the thunderbolt. When Princess Qing Wan saw this, her heart was also shaken. She was sure that Night Sorrow was the person she was looking for. However, she understood that this time, it wouldn't go smoothly. One had to look at the person using the weapon. The character of the person using the weapon was unyielding and unyielding. It was impossible to subdue him. If she used force, it would end in mutual destruction. The lightning tribulation lasted for 15 minutes. Cracks appeared on Sky Splitter. However, it lasted until the lightning disappeared. After passing the lightning tribulation, Sky Splitter circled around and stabbed in front of Night Sorrow. At this moment, the golden light also descended. Chapter 1103. As the lightning tribulation absorbed the golden light, the cracks on Lai Kong disappeared. It was completely restored. Then the tail vibrated and made a sound. Night Sorrow grabbed Lai Kong and looked at it. Then he waved his right hand and cut open the space. Then he controlled the 9-region origin pearl to leave his body. It wrapped the storage ring Xueshi and Lai Kong and entered the space. Go back and wait for me. Night Sorrow shouted at the stunned Xueshi. Then he waved his left hand and sealed the space. Not only was Xuexi stunned, Princess Qing Yuan, Zhou Tingfei and Princess Qing Yuan's maid were also shocked. They didn't expect Night Sorrow to do this. It was too fast and no one could react in time. Okay, now that there's nothing to do, we can talk. Night Sorrow pulled a chair and sat opposite Princess Qing Yuan. Looks like you have made some preparations. You have a strong defense against your majesty. Princess Qing Yuan looked at Night Sorrow and said. She knew that Night Sorrow had made all the preparations to face her. In other words, he knew that she was coming in advance and was on guard against her. Only Z is the original _ the others are Z's pirated copies. Yes, a person without foresight will have immediate worries. Princess Qing Yuan wouldn't visit me without a reason. Night Sorrow can't resist, but I still have to make some preparations. Night Sorrow drank a cup of tea and said. Very bold. You are indeed not an ordinary person. Princess Qing Yuan smiled and nodded. You are disrespectful to our princess. Aren't you afraid that we will attack your nest? Destroy the world you belong to. Princess Qing Yuan's maid, Bai Ling, had a face full of killing intent. Not to mention the sky mystic world, even in the supreme world, even the monarch wouldn't dare to be so impolite to Princess Qing Yuan. The princess is yours, not mine. As for attacking my world, whether you can do it or not, you have to ask your princess. Night Sorrow looked at Bai Ling and said. Ah. A realm lord has the confidence to not fear any opponent. The treasure you gave away just now is the origin of a world, right? Princess Qing Yuan smiled and said. That's right, it's the source energy of the 9-domain world. The 9-domain world is the world where I came from, Night Sorrow said. This soul avatar of yours is a special type of avatar. Aren't you afraid of being destroyed? Zhou Tingfei spoke. He understood that they had encountered the same situation as when they met Yen Tianpe in the Crimson Capital. Facing the clones of world overlords, there was no need to fear any threat. I'm not afraid and I won't hide it from you. I'm a king-level alchemist. I was lucky enough to obtain a lot of materials in the past, and I've refined a lot of supplement spirit pills. In addition, I have a spatial treasure that can accelerate time by 100 times. Condensing an avatar won't be difficult. Night Sorrow looked at Zhou Tingyun and said. He really wasn't afraid of anything now. Do you really want to become enemies with us? Zhou Tingyun narrowed his eyes at Night Sorrow. The teleportation array between the 9-domain world and the sky mystic world had already been destroyed when you guys came. Therefore, I'm not worried about anything. Let's not threaten each other and have a good talk. Night Sorrow smiled. Looking at Night Sorrow's smile, Zhou Tingyun felt a toothache. He had experienced a lot of things and had even killed monarchs before. However, he had never encountered a situation like Night Sorrow's. It was like a dog biting a tortoise with nowhere to bite. Alright, although things aren't going well, it's not a wasted trip to be able to meet someone like you. Qing Yuan is impressed. Princess Qing Yuan cupped her hands towards Night Sorrow. This wasn't empty talk. Princess Qing Yuan was really impressed by Night Sorrow. After knowing her identity, he was still able to refine equipment in an orderly manner and talk calmly. This was his aura. Ordinary monarchs wouldn't be able to do this. In terms of cultivation aptitude, Princess Qing Yuan had seen a lot of geniuses. However, she had never seen a dual-attribute king who was slightly over 100 years old. Another thing was his battle prowess. She had seen the power of Night Sorrow's casual attack after refining the Sky Splitter. Princess Qing Yuan is too polite. Night Sorrow is a cultivator from a small world. It's just that I'm not willing to live a lowly life. Therefore, I was a little disrespectful to Princess. Please forgive me. Night Sorrow nodded towards Princess Qing Yuan. I can understand. These aren't empty words. I truly can understand. You also have the confidence to not live a lowly life. Princess Qing Yuan nodded. In the boundless world, monarchs didn't have this capital. However, realm masters had this confidence because they had their own territory and domain. I'm just lucky. Bai Ling opened her mouth and said. You were born in a large world. You have a high starting point. You will never understand how difficult it is to be a cultivator from a small world. My adoptive father is a hunter. I used to be a hunter too. However, I didn't want the people in my hometown to be constantly threatened by beasts. Therefore, I embarked on the path of cultivation. If you say it's luck, then I have nothing to say. Night Sorrow glanced at Bai Ling and said. Bai Ling, shut up. Night Sorrow is a virtuous person. He has done good deeds for the world. This is the judgment of the Tao of Heaven. You can't use luck to blaspheme it. Luck is blasphemy to those who work hard and resist. Princess Qing Yuan shouted at Bai Ling, I've only been cultivating for a short period of time. However, I've been fighting all the time. I've been on the brink of death many times. I don't care about anything anymore. As long as the people around me are safe, that's enough. Murmured Night Sorrow in a low voice. This was what he said to himself. No matter how difficult it was, he felt that it was worth it. Night Sorrow, I'm not threatening you. Your real body is still in the Juxiao Tower in the world of the 9 clouds, right? Said Zhuo Tingfei. He was really afraid that Night Sorrow would say something that would embarrass him. You're a threat. My real body stopped practicing in advance and returned to the world of the 9 regions. Of course it's a great loss. However, my safety is related to the world of the 9 regions, so I have to bear with it. Night Sorrow was still a little unhappy when he mentioned this. Zhuo Tingfei didn't say anything because Night Sorrow had already planned everything. He was also cruel to himself. He stopped practicing when he wanted to, which was a loss for his future. He also didn't want the clone in front of him. It could be said that Night Sorrow didn't care about the clone in front of him at all. Night Sorrow, your majesty came here. Actually, it's not bad for you. Let's put it simply. We just want you to come to our Qing Emperor's dynasty to develop. You're a meritorious person. It's good for the Qing Emperor's dynasty. The Qing Emperor's dynasty will give you a wider world. The world of the 9 clouds is still too small, said Princess Qing Wan. Doing good without intention is meritorious. Doing good with purpose is also meritorious. Your way of thinking might be wrong. I will go to the supreme world, but not now. Just like now, you can easily kill me. Why would I go to the supreme world? Looking for abuse? Night Sorrow laughed. Princess Qing Wan also laughed. Although things didn't go well, she had some understanding of Night Sorrow. Then do you know that in a stable environment, it's harder to improve yourself? Your Majesty is the only princess of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. However, when there's a war, I've always been at the forefront. There's great fear between life and death. It's also the best way to improve yourself. Princess Qing Wan said. That's reasonable. I also understand. However, that's the cultivation path chosen when there's no room for improvement or when it's very difficult to improve. Currently, my strength is still in the stage of rapid improvement. Night Sorrow agreed with Princess Qing Wan, but he also had his own point of view. Your Majesty won't force you. However, you're facing a great danger now. Perhaps your Majesty can help you solve it. Princess Qing Wan changed the topic. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.